now. As much as it sucks to hear that, only the end result matters. Only those who can step up when all the chips are down is going to come out on top. And at least that's the lesson that Team Falcons taught us last year. Refinery used to be a hotspot for Indonesian teams, right now taken over by Vision System.
And a very slow start here at Kalahari, which is going to be deadly because all the teams will have their hands on those coin machines and, you know, enough room to purchase those hook guns, and rotation around the battlefield is going to be super easy. These snipers are going to have a tough time finding their mark when everybody's hopping up and down. Oh, okay, the airdrop's a little bit upside down this time around, but it's okay.
For us, scoring a jackpot right off the bat, getting an airdrop. Could not have a better start. He was the one that just instantly got into a vehicle and started driving the moment he dropped, right? Around the maze, which is one of the few deadly areas, at least in SCA. For some reason, people like to fight in the maze, but if you get control and you get access to a vehicle early on, you get these kind of luxury. And let's hope it pays off for Virtus Pro. They have a good spot to rotate to. They're scanning north side, well, at least I think it's AGAL that dropped the Arvon and scan Nameless. AGAL are on the northern end of Foundation.
And we get a quick shot here of Vision as well. They had Vision that they perhaps may be able to find a few extra points out here up against Virtus Pro. And straight in they go, looking for the hunt at the maze. AGAL would have definitely seen them flying on in as well. So it doesn't mean Vision System has got the upper hand here. It's all up until AGAL decides to drop by and say hello, Nameless. Almost got put down there.
And I just said that teams like to fight here, and you know, it's good to see it being quiet, but Vision System is here to change it, that they don't want to play by the book. Vitality against Team Falcons. One body for another on fire. Blasted from the back by Evo's Divine. Falcons surrounded by the Indonesians.
Absolutely. Falcons were going in for the hunt onto Vitality, but saved by the appearance of EVOS Esports now. Angor Rasya all up at the top. Dropping player after player limit. Question is, did he hit that revival before running on out? The team survives for a little bit longer. Limit getting the deep done, purchasing an insurance policy for the squad, keeping Falcons in. We saw this at Bermuda, almost on the wipeout list, and then they made a comeback for the Booyah, so we can't count them out just yet.
Of course not, but on Kalahari it's so much harder, right? So much more open ground that you need to be careful about. Jump getting knocked by GU as CXK now have to deal with Flux, so that's the Reptile Rhythm. It breaks wall faster now in this new update, and Don will have to back off. Cougar being able to sidestep and take cover. Fluxo down to just GU and MT7.
And the plasma gun, one that we have not seen in a long time in meta, is finally back with it.
But a good attempt from GU. Fluxo still in the running with 2 extra members, so a revival must have came through at some point. A couple of highlights from the earlier stage of the round. We see Falcons and Vitality duking it out before Evo's Divine shows up and just shut the show down.
Yeah, absolutely. And Vitality obviously really happy with that situation. They got to scurry away, hit those revivals, and back in here with a full squad. Unfortunately, though, they haven't brought any points up onto the board just yet. Vision System spotting out potential opponents here. Went in for the chase earlier on, but we'll drop back now to check out what AGAL is all about. Jota with the Tatsuya and the Oscar has got a double dash there in hand, so he's going to be pretty deadly. They're probably going to give him a little bit of extra confidence as well, but instantly that confidence taken away by Cypher and his headshot. AC-80 to the head, and will put the players of Vision System on the bench.
Of Vision System out in 11th.
Well, thank God Hotshot didn't take the Booyah then. They still have an opportunity to pick up a few more points out there. AGL on the hunt. Vision System, they were the aggressive ones initially. AGL didn't even play the third party. They just bided their time, waiting for that opportunity. And it all started off with that AC-80 by Cypher. Vision System out early once again.
I know we have a lot of disagreements about Kalahari, but I think one thing we can agree on is that a slow Kalahari game is the scariest game overall.
Oh yeah.
With so much open area. We're seeing Dinocleus being pulled out. Couple of knocks on the kill feed. Ray finding Cypher. rotation from Team Falcons, finding some safe haven. Here comes Evo's Divine, who had recollected their footstep and retraced it straight to AGAL and finds 6 points. But they're on the hunt for more. Deal in the red has a revival point, but there's no time for any static movement. So Evo's Divine will keep on chasing.
Oh, but Evo's in trouble though. Pain Gaming rotating towards their compound at the very same time. And Evo's a tad bit too busy on the hunt here, looking for the final player on the side of AGAL. Gochil will be able to spot him, misses the first shot, and the jump pad allows him to survive a little bit longer, just a slightly bit. And Pain Gaming, on the other hand, pulling the brakes instantaneously, not wanting to drop by this compound too early. And Evo's Divine finding Chinoy. But the revival for AGAL was pretty phenomenal at that vending machine, so he got his job done.
Pain Gaming found a better bounty than dealing with Evo's Divine. It's the revived member, the freshly returned members of AGAL. And that's free pickings for Pain Gaming if they can find them around Mammoth. Core Memory going for an extremely late rotation, just passing through Stone Race to the southern side of the map. They're going to reach the sub in just a little bit where Fluxo is holding ground, but you can see that Pain Gaming, they've already found a couple of numbers on AGAL.
Yeah. Core Memory in the fastest vehicle they can find out there on the deserts of Kalahari. Probably won't give them much. It will protect them from some of the elevation as the drop-off of these cliffs. And Pain Gaming, on the other hand, 6 eliminations strong. A beautiful start for this Brazilian squad this time round, with Motovia and Gus finally finding that high-octane action on their side, and they are not on the losing end for the time being. And I think chaos is about to befall all of us here, Husky. Only 2 teams out of the equation so far, and this is not a huge map at all.
No, it's like a volcano about to erupt, right? You can see, you can already feel the tectonic plates, you know, the friction. They're about to slide off each other's equilibrium, and when that happens, the eruption is going to be uncontrollable. We are seeing Core Memory, AGAL, and Fluxo collide at the sub. That could kind of narrow down some of the numbers on this map. Bob's finding Chinoy. So Fluxo getting a couple of eliminations under their belt as well. Bob's with the first grenade elimination on this map.
Well, Core Memory has got the advantage here. Fluxo out in the open. Cougar spotted him out already. But as they take damage from the circle, question is when they go in for that strike. Good double glue wall erected instantaneously. Bob saving the squad with the defense. And now the grenades laid. Oh, wow, and what a god nade by Bobs! And that instantaneously dismantles the squad of Core Memory. They can't get away just yet.
What a 3-pointer from this man. 2 back-to-back grenades. The triple jump and MT7. Finds a Zensi. Core Memory stood no chance in this fight where they should have had the advantage. And now the rest of Core Memory are going to get dispatched one by one. Butchers it and Bobs comes in. That's a double for Fluxo. 6 points.
And that's the snipe shot I was looking for, MT7. He delivers. Looking for Don now from afar. Finally, Fluxo are the aggressors. 6 eliminations strong. What a stand-up performance here at the sub. But now, dealing with the circle, making it into the next save zone is going to be a little bit of a problem because they're heading straight in towards the confines of Refinery. High ground action once again might just put them out of the count. They need to depend on those jump pads as well as a couple of scans out of those binoculars.
RedHawks are about to engage with Hotshot Esports as Hotshot started firing at Flicker. He did take the jump pad to rotate from Refinery towards the southern end of the compound. AGAL doing the same thing, about to land right on top of Falcons too. Gotta be ready, and he absolutely is, but Vitality is behind him. Gotta pick a poison.
Oh, what a rotation here by Dew. But he's gonna get shot at by 3 squads at the same time, and it is the Pakistani players that get the shot in action with the card of all guns bumped in the season and performing really well in the hands of the Asian squads.
We see a binocular scan as well. 5 players being scanned out. I think it should be courtesy of RedHawks as Core Memory gets eliminated in 10th place. 9 teams remain. Here comes Evo's Divine about to fight the compatriots from Indonesia. Vitality right on their radar, and Evo's Divine on the hunt.
Evo's Divine, one of the leaders at this day 1, looking to continue their prowl into the next circle, but Alpha showing up out of nowhere. Let's see if or not they can get away from this one, because Evos knows exactly what they need to knock down. Vitality standing right in front of Alpha 34. R7 rotating around. Hook gun to get him out of trouble, but they all get sprayed down. By who? By the players of Hot Shots of everyone. At the high ground, they take advantage.
Alpha 34 with that rotation, what was that? They signed that death sentence just with that move without enough information. Evo's Divine now gets to move on forward. They got to bring Ray back up, and they do just that. Ray back up to full vitality, holding behind this container. Azure 25 has a huge job to do. Sees Kochu, tags him a little bit, forcing Evo's Divine back into this factory area, this garage, this warehouse. And that's going to slow them down for a bit, but Pain Gaming now arrives.
Hotshot versus RedHawks. That's a battle that we are about to see. And Falcons, yet another bird hopping on into the mix as well. Then some hot action about to kick off on the opposite side of the battlefield. And we get there in time. AGAL, Dejan takes him down. VSS time, baby. Sergeant finds one for the squad as well, but the container, all the Falcons have for in terms of defense.
RedHawks is playing on the low ground as well as Fluxo now receives some fire, not just from Hotshot, but also from Team Falcons. Limit with the Riptide Rhythm is going to make it even tougher for Fluxo. They're putting up the glue walls, and it's just enough, but a second one comes through. Fluxo could not catch a break at all, but a couple of containers is going to keep them safe for now. Pain Gaming out.
Using the terrain to their advantage. Great play from Fluxo to not waste their glue walls, and they are on the very edge of the next zone as well. So not a lot of space to rotate around. Therefore, Fluxo should be in that final circle. The rest of the chaos about to go down now. But Hot Shots with that high ground advantage. Falcons wants to call their shot here, meeting them halfway.
And Peter has already found Anas, and this is already not a good start for Hotshot. Can they hold on? Sajin gonna get knocked out by Kororo. The glue wall secures his demise. Is down in this tree for Hotshot. They need to hold this ground. Falcons knows that. The takeover is one step to completion. Kororo from the flank couldn't find an entry in, but Hotshot, they got a lot coming their way.
Yeah, the Steffi was pulled out a tad bit too late, but it does defend them from a couple of grenades. Now Hotshot's barricaded by their own glue walls. Falcons finally making their way around, but yet another defensive glue wall pulled out. But that one falls like a paper wall. Final survivor left here on the side of Hotshot, and Falcons are not slowing down just yet. Action gets away for the time being, but that's about the end of it as Peter pulls away the final player from the side of Hotshot Esports.
It's either death by the hands of Falcons or by Fluxo. But with that takeover, Falcons currently, at least for this moment, is going to have some space to breathe. It's a good area to be on this high ground, but the circle is going to move away from that. Evo's Divine, 14 eliminations as they now face off against RedHawks on the low ground.
Come on, man. Consistency is key, and RedHawks are kicking it out there. Still alive, but 5 squads remaining here. Make that 4 as Cypher shows up in front of Peter, who's on absolute fire in this final circle. Circles moving on. Fluxo doesn't really need to rotate all that too far. Limit with the smart plays, with the glue wall melters before those defenses can even be erected.
This is going to be a tough rotation. RedHawks wants to make the first move, but AimGod finds Blade, and there's not really much time to bring him back out. The glue walls desperately being thrown to protect him, but Kutush ends up being a victim of that as the rest of Evo's Divine are going to show up to clean up what they started. Blade takes out Ray with the trip mine, and that's pretty much it. RedHawks out in 4th.
Out in 4th, Fluxo down by 1 man. They've got a little bit too little in their tank bombs with the rotation. Jump pad now right in front of Evo's. Fluxo, I don't know if or not they are calling the gods of shot straight towards them, but now Falcons at the very top. They wanted double booyah at the start of this day, and they may just as well pull this one off.
Again, they took over where Hotshot was, and it gave them the best position to work with. High ground leverage, and on top of that, good rotation into this moving circle. Evo's Divine getting dispatched left, right, and center. Falcons with 9 eliminations under their belt. Ball's about to run into Peter. This is a good angle for them to go for the swing.
And now, with EVOS kind of slowing things down a tad bit, Falcons are in trouble. Fluxo knows exactly the kind of danger that awaits them from up above. Those grenades could come raining down on them, but everybody's waiting for that circle to close on down. This one is now turning out to be a troublesome situation. Do we depend on those medkits, or do we depend on some final second pandemonium as Butches in finds AimGod, puts him down 6 feet under as well. EVOS has no chance to pull the booyah.
That is good for Fluxo. They got 3 members left. They just have to hold this ground. Starts by taking out EVOS Esports, because that is the contender. That is going to be the one the team that is challenging them for space. But if they can hold this, they are going to force Fluxo to play level.
Yeah, it ain't over till it's over. Fluxo, a slow start indeed, but Peter, M592 the head, puts down bombs. Your MVP from the global stage, and without him, this one gets a tad bit more difficult. Pushes him down as well. Jiu, the final survivor, taken out of the equation, and the one and only Falcons, your champions of Free Fire EWC 24, showing that they can rise up to the top when they want to.
2 booyahs in 3 rounds. Falcons built to withstand hardship, built to withstand the altitude, and built to withstand the desert of Kalahari. Another clean round, great understanding of rotation. Hotshot Esports was the key, and Falcons swoop in on that.
Brother, in Bermuda and in Kalahari, history repeats. They almost got wiped out. One single survivor. The comeback is holy hell real with the Falcons here. It's just the Riyadh buff. They know how to absorb that extra energy from the sun. I tell you, we need to figure out how they're doing this.
I don't know. This team is this Team Falcons are the closest to the headquarters, right? You feel the energy from all of the trophies they collected, the plaques from last year. But there's another team that I want to give special credit to. Just a tad bit of mention. Evo's Divine once more stepping it up. Sure, they didn't finish with a booyah, but they finished in 3rd place with a heck of a lot of eliminations. And once more, the top 2 teams from last year are stepping it up again.
Absolutely, man. And with Russia on their side, the Wonder Kid finally able to play on the big stage. The only thing stopping him in the past was his age. He's just 16 years old. He's got millions of fans on YouTube all through Free Fire, and he's now here to show the seniors how to play the game really well. And unfortunately for him, the Thai team still a step ahead of the Indonesian squads. EVOS Esports, although they do beat them in eliminations, they just could not grab the booyah for the first time in the day. But of course, they are dangerously close to that final circle. Time and time again, consistency is key, and they've got that.
Yeah. It's the best definition of your worst enemy is yourself. Fluxo stepping it up in round number 3, right? We needed to see them really pick up the pace, but thankfully in round number 3, not just Fluxo, Pain Gaming also showing us that Brazilians are not to be trifled over. Yeah, the cold start kind of sucked a little bit, but now the engines have warmed up. They're able to start shifting gears, and Fluxo being able to hold their ground for so long is mad impressive.
Yeah, man, Haja tried to trick all of us. They were like, she's like, you know, the Brazilians won't do all that too well on this map. They were rocking it, right? And Fluxo getting into the final circle shows us the fight in them. But of course, we have got the stage. Let's bring up the interview with the winners.
Wow, what we have seen so far. Double booyah for Team Falcons, and of course, some incredible Free Fire matches. So right now, let's talk to Peter from Team Falcons. Last year, he won AWC with his previous team, but also with Team Falcons. And right now, let's throw him some questions. I have him here, his translator, and we're gonna do this communication between us. Okay, first question. What was the talk or strategy that helped you start the day so strong and end up at the top of the standing so far?
ก็สำหรับคำถามแรกนะครับอยากจะถามว่ามีแผนอะไรบ้างครับที่เตรียมมาก่อนหน้านี้ทำให้การ performance ของทีมเนี่ยอยู่บนท็อปของตารางเลยครับตั้งแต่เปิดแข่งมา
ก็แผนไม่มีอะไรมากครับก็แค่ยิงให้เขารู้จักครับว่าเราก็ไม่ได้มาแบบเป็นหมูให้เขาเชื่อครับ
So there's no plan at all. We are here just like to hunt everyone down one by one and show them like what we got.
Wow. Okay, that's a good answer. I like that, Peter. And the second question is, you are the defending champions, the reign champions of AWC 24. How much pressure is there to repeat this title this year?
ก็ในปีที่แล้วเราเป็นถึงขั้นแชมป์นะครับของ EWC 2024 นะครับและในปีนี้เนี่ยเรากลับมาอีกครั้งเพื่อเป็นทำหน้าที่ป้องกันแชมป์นะครับผมแล้วก็พยายามที่จะได้แชมป์ในสมัยที่2อยากทราบว่ามีความกดดันอะไรบ้างไหมครับ
ก็ไม่ได้กดดันอะไรมากครับก็แค่เราก็เล่นตามสไตล์ของเราครับถ้าป้องกันแชมป์ก็จะป้องกันแชมป์ไม่ได้ครับ
Actually there's no pressure at all for him or like for anyone in the teams. We are here just like to defend the champs.
Okay. No pressure, Hunter other teams. We have heard enough from Team Falcons. And let's wait what else we are gonna watch for the next matches. But right now, it's time for a a quick break. So let's watch more Free Fire actions in a couple minutes.
3นี่
มาเดินแล้ว
เฮ้ย
กูฉีกไปได้ไกลๆได้ป่าววะฝั่งนู้นอะ
จุ้ยฉีกได้นะ
กูฉีก
ไปขอตัวนึง
ได้จุ้ย
ล่างนี้หมดเลย
มาบนตัวนึงเอาตายแล้ว
สวยมาเล่นเหลือ4-3แล้ว
เช่มากูมาละ
เติร์นล่างได้ปะล่างได้
กูลงนะกูลงฝั่งนี้นะให้หน้ากูตัวนึงให้หน้ากูจะดาว
ช่วยกันก็
ต่อตัวท้ายเพื่อนหลังไป
80
120ไปโอ้กู
ชิวสัตว์แค่นั้นแหละ
กูไม่ได้ยิงเลย
What an incredible comeback coming from Team Falcons. They were almost eliminated at the beginning of the game. They managed to come back and they even got revenge on their arch nemesis, Evos Divine. They were so close to getting rid of the Kryptonite, the team that's causing the most issues, but unfortunately, again, just falling short. Another thing to note as well, folks, Fluxo, this team, unfortunately, having a very slow start today, is starting to wake up. And I know, Raja, you are very excited for this because you know the potential of this team. Let's go at Fluxo. What did they do right in game number 3?
Yeah, first of all, I agree with you. I believe a lot in them, but I think they are like kind of waking up just right now, which is a little bit early. But okay, I mean, we still have other matches to play, so I think he can decide a bunch of things and we can wait for them like to grow. But I'm really happy at all with this match from Fluxo. At least Alpha 34, it's not clocking to them. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with them because they have like they have good players. I actually don't know what's going on.
Neptune, I know you have something that you're really wanting to bring up on the panel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, other than Team Falcons taking 100% in the top 3 rate, because, yeah, they don't show up on the board when it comes to second map, but they're still in their top 3. Now, another team is RedHawks. Again, I couldn't emphasize it. New to the tournament, international tournament, but they are rocking it this time.
I mean, that's not the only team who's rocking it just as hot. Hot shot! These, again, both of these teams coming into this tournament, yes, one is more veteran, the other is looking to kind of make their name here at EWC itself. It's great to see that these youngins are full of energy and are moving in with a lot of momentum in this game. But speaking of gas and momentum, we're noticing that a lot of the squads who are getting bowed out early on generally are, I don't know, even Vitality getting a little overhyped. Core memory as well, especially since they've consistently faced up against Fluxo in the past 2 maps already. I think it's really between the 2 of these teams to predetermine who makes it into top 3, if not top 4.
Yeah, maybe a factor as well, it was Kalahari. This is kind of a different map compared to all the other maps in Free Fire, so fundamentally it can be a little bit confusing for some of these teams, and I mean, if you can specialize in Kalahari, you are good. Now, our overall rankings. Can you guess who is at the top? The king of EWC. It is Team Falcons sitting in first place. Our champions of 2024 already off to a fantastically strong start and followed by their arch nemesis, Evos Divine. Look, Evos have played great, but I kind of wonder, what is it doing to your psyche to know that you are just being beaten by the team that basically stole your dreams last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough really for the side of Evo's Divine. It is seems like in day number 1 they want to go for a repeat. But I know there's a little bit slowdown that will be happening later on because judging from the scores, elimination-wise, they have more compared to Team Falcon. So they just have to play with more elimination they can bring on and then consistency in the placement.
I think, at least for me, you might as well start off hot today. You need to make that statement, right? Again, we heard in the interview itself that Falcon's like, we're hunting for people. That is our goal. We want to put a red target on our backs because then it's just easier for us to hunt you. We don't have to go out of our way. You'll come to us.
I just want to add that it's good to see Evo's playing better because at the global finals they weren't doing like an amazing job. I don't know if it's the right squad that is playing right now, like the same team, but well, they weren't like really good at the global finals. But right now they are doing an amazing job. I can say it.
I mean, they look great, right? They're getting so many eliminations. Their kills look very clean, right? It's very well planned out. It's very strategic. It's not. I think we sometimes see teams when they get very desperate for those eliminations. It looks a little sloppy. They just kind of go like, YOLO, just shoot anything that moves, and sometimes you get lucky. That's not what EVOS is doing. Very calculated, very calm. They're hunting for players, but they're doing it in a way where they don't really get caught out. It's just they're hunting players, but can you also get the placement points to overtake Falcons? I think they need something to just... What's the issue? Like, what do we feel like is holding EVOS back from beating Falcons? Do we think maybe Falcons, they're just strategically better?
I think that AimGod is smart. He's extremely smart with the way that he coordinates with the rest of his team, but you can't have all the factors in play. That very last map in Kalahari, I think it could have been possibly for them to have a 4v4 as squad v squad, just start clash squadding with Falcons if they didn't get picked off by Fluxo, right? So that's one of those key factors here every single time you go into that top 3 N circle scenario.
Yeah, and seems like Evo's Divine plays well on a 3-1 split, especially with Russia under play. I did mention that earlier on Bermuda. That is one of their downfall. If they focus more on Russia, like the distance gameplay that they have, then they might be losing up on the 4v4s.
Well, we do have another opportunity for EVOS to potentially beat Falcons and grab themselves a booyah because game number 4 is ready to go, folks. So throwing it back to Husky and AJ, take it away for game number 4 here at Free Fire at EWC 2025.
Wow, I didn't know I was called AJ and Husky. You know what? But that's okay.
Are we not welcome here?
Anyways, a lot to be expected here, especially from EVOS. They had a great start today, but haven't really been able to clinch their games, getting that booyah yet. But Falcons look strong.
Falcons looks very strong. They managed to get 2 booyahs in 3 games. That is a very good opener for day number 1 for the Thailand team. And another point I would like to say is towards one of the Indonesian team, Team Vitality. They have yet to shine. They had a very terrible game number 1, alongside again on game number 2. A slight improvement on game number 3, but sadly not strong enough for them to gain points to be in that top 12 for the point rush stage.
Yeah, I think Gideon brought this up on desk as well. I mean, this is a shorter format. You don't really have that luxury, that time to really warm up, find your momentum. It's go hard, go big or go home, hit the ground running. And Falcons is showing us that with that new roster, that's coming in this year. There's a lot to be expected from them, given the fact that there's only 2 players left from the last season with 2, brand new players, and they want to be able to live up to their name.
There you go, 63 points for Falcons with 31 eliminations. We are now on game number 4 here in Alpine. Players has dropped from their plane and it's quite scattered in our map right here. A very good sunny day in Alpine, one of my favorite maps in Free Fire. And it looks like Team Falcon will choose Fusion as their drop spot in this map. And apparently they are not surrounded by any team. As you can see here, they are safe to loot. However, on other side of the maps, you can see that Team Fluxo is going to go Vantage. That is one of the safe point of interest in Alpine. Quite far from the other point of interests, but still a good place to start.
interestingly enough, I mean, today has been really big tempo. I mean, even before AJ and Husky could even do their first introduction to the game, you know, we already saw a big fight happening here. But anyways, most eliminations coming in from Rasha, Keroro, and Action. You know what's interesting? I think we were hearing a lot about Rasha for many years now. The only thing that's stopping him was just his age, right? And you know, this is his first international debut, if I'm not mistaken.
Not the first international
debut.
debut.
He did debut this year, yeah?
Yeah, for EWC, yes.
For EWC, yes. And what's really interesting about him is the fact that he is fearless. I mean, first EWC doesn't matter. I hit the ground running, I shoot heads, and I completely eliminate everyone.
Yeah, when we were 16, we were just focusing on school. And he's here in Riyadh playing for a $1 million prize pool. So that is something very remarkable. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like in the early stages of the game, not much is happening. However, Ducks, it looks like Vision System PSA has eyes locked on towards a hot shot. But apparently, Hot Shot made a very nice pathing inside Ducks, trying to actually avoid a VSE. And as you know, early elimination, early fights, it's not something that you would like to face on, especially if you're on the the other end of the stick.
Yeah, I think some of these teams like VSC, Vitality, were struggling in the beginning of today as well. But now RedHawks are going super aggressive. They're just going ham right now. They're just trying to find that space, just go into this area, trying their best to break these blue walls, find nothing quite yet. But Flicker should fall next as the rest of the team just hunker down forward, tries to collapse. But no one's really baiting it.
Oh, Core Memo is actually...
Hooker already getting that one pick off here. And for the rest of the team, they're saying, okay, we are done. One knockout is enough. And I don't think we should actually pursue this. They don't want to rush the issue.
Yeah, the reason why they are falling back is because Core Memo, the KOG, is actually right behind their tail. And it is a good decision from both Team RedHawks and also Team Pain to actually just fall back to avoid any kind of predicament. Sorry, not Pain, Alpha. However, you can see that CRM pushing forward towards the Brazilian.
That is painful!
And Liz, nice shots, taking down Cougar. Trying to go for a second one, but trying to secure the point first. However, Linz could not fight, but jump! Has been jumped by Motovea. That was a nice woodpecker shot from the Brazilian.
They are really great at just holding down holding the ground. They're not going to back off. Jump falls. But they're not done quite yet. The rest of the team now on fire. Zen's will be the next one to go down. Quickly eliminated. No mercy. All kills.
Motovea shining bright here in Snowfall with 3K on his name with that one woodpecker. However, Core Memory has second life, so you can see that Don managed to revive all that is fallen from his team. So yeah, for Pain Gaming, a very good start. They have been very shaky for the past few games, but game number 4, they are clearly in a good spot.
Try for the angle. See whether or not he can just really launch himself onto these players here. Don alone. Motovea, he is going super aggressive, getting another pickoff already. This guy is a monster. He's just taking names, getting kills left, right, and center. You can really tell that this game, he's very hot right now. He's very aggressive. The momentum definitely in his hands. He feels good. But as for Don, he's just hiding for his life, hoping that these two players do not find him. They might eventually do as they quickly make their way to him, but his teammates are rallying, slowly taking up space.
Don or Dondu, a member from King of Gamers, transfers in towards Core Memory. Made it out safe, was not spotted by Team Alpha 34. Meanwhile, Team Alpha Linz is in quite a trouble here. You can see that he was low HP for some reason. Meanwhile, hot shot on Sunside, looking very nice, looking very cool here. Sunside, this place is, for me, it's very weird. Because the looting here is just so small, but I don't know why it's still a point of interest in the map.
Really not. A lot of four-way fights happening right now over in that area that no one's really relenting over toward the area where Falcons were before.
There you go.
Long-range fights happening here. as the rest of the team just hoping whether or not they can get that knock they really need it. On fire is just putting in damage onto Kutush as well. Looking to reposition himself. They jump away. Kutush is very low. Surprised he wasn't able to be knocked out of the air here. The flicker should fall. Getting sandwiched between two different players. Just unlucky for him to be out there in the open.
That is the second death here for Flicker. Nejad managed to actually jump on his own, but it was found by R7 Alpha 34. So Nejad goes down as well. I believe there's only two, or is it one member from team RedHawk? Two, yeah, two members of Team RedHawk still alive. So the Bangladeshian team is still in our game. And yeah, quite unlucky here for Flicker. Could not actually flick his shot properly. Meanwhile, Vitality is still alive in Malaysia. Nothing much to be saved by them. And there you go. As you can see that the first circle is about to close. However, on Snowfall, we got Core Memory KOG, we got Pain Gaming and Virtus Pro all in one spot.
They have to fight their way into the circle. Nothing is given, everything is earned, and this circle shifts more toward this central side with EVOS having so much of the space in the middle side of this circle. Things are getting very interesting here. We're seeing a lot of shots happening, but no really big kills happening quite yet, and it's a hard terrain to work with as well.
Alright, Snowfall, we still have three teams all here. One team from Brazil, two teams from Thailand. You can see Peter from Pain. Tries to take aim on towards Virtus Pro, but could not get the angle correctly. Finds Fuwara, only a shot hit with that SBD. Let's go for the launcher. Uzi with the Skylar, but nothing to contribute over that active skill. Meanwhile, Pain is still holding Team Virtus Pro in their clutches. Diamond pushes towards the front. Fuwara and Nameless providing space. However, jump from the back knocks down Motorvea. And Motorvea has been eliminated. However, Pain Gaming is still alive. Peter is trying to find space to fall back. Gus manages to actually return to his teammate.
Oh, nice
at the
shot.
same time, hunting towards the Team Virtus Pro. Dawn tries to get that KR skill and manages to steal one from Team Pain. So, Core Memory tries to go for the third party, but eventually Team Pain as well as Virtus Pro exited Snowfall.
Honestly, they've been really hunkering him out here on Snowfall for quite some time. They're battling with the area out for the damage from being outside the zone. And on top of that as well, Pain Gaming tried to be the team to gatekeep these teams outside of that circle. And it really bit them back in the butt. Now they're in trouble. They're getting surrounded from all different sides and areas. Core Memory is making life hell from them. Zen's trying to find the perfect flank with his teammate. Finds nothing quite yet. But the jump shot forward from Gus, that high ground is giving him a lot of value in terms of intel.
Yeah, Gus, the lone player from Pain Gaming, still surviving alongside of Team Core Memory. Here comes Noda to provide support. But however, Zen has anticipated the push from Noda. Motorvea as well has been revived back again into Alpine. And what will be Zen's next step? Because he's the only one here from Team Core Memory, but managed to get that jump pad over. Meanwhile, Fluxo and Falcon, the double Fs are at it.
Very aggressive. Gio quickly just eliminates On Fire here as well, as the rest of Falcons scramble, forced to leave the zone, forced to give away their space. But Fluxo's work is not done quite yet. They're looking to find any other pickups they can from Falcons, really stop their domination. They've been doing great right now for Falcons, but a bit more quiet in the start, and I don't blame them.
Hotshot has been quiet here in game Alpine. They only get one elimination. Same goes to Vision System. SPA, VSE is still yet to show what they are worth here, because they have been having bad games up until game number 4 here. Meanwhile, Zen takes down Nameless. That's on the kill feed. Meanwhile, MT7 gets a point here for Fluxo, taking out Nejad from RedHawks. And we are back on Zen from Core Memory. He's still yet together with his teammates. Jump just got revived back. Only Cougar is still on the spectator side. So Zen has a lot of work to be done. But yep, it looks like the circling nicely actually. If you can get the map in. It's actually circling nicely towards Team EVOS Divine.
EVOS Divine has been in that circle for quite some time. They didn't really have to do much rotation. They didn't have to go super aggressive in terms of moving around the map as well. They're so comfortable right now. The only team that's looking to really challenge them is Vitality. But meanwhile, over on this side, a lot of teams are getting knocked down, falling to their deaths. As for Core Memory here, looking to challenge Falcons, going to toe right now. Nice sprays forward, but it's actually going to find Peter in the end. It's doing a great job of strafing and moving around those blue walls. And he's not done. Spots out Limit, anything that moves, he shoots, and Limit barely survives the initial skirmish.
And we have just found out Alpha 34 is the first team to be eliminated here in Alpine. That Brazilian team could not survive any longer here in game number 4. So we're now looking at Team Core Memory. I believe this is Jump. Looking for space to go to the front. It looks like Cougar has been found by Vitality. So the lone player here for Core Memory has to face Limit. Limit is one of the best snipers in Thailand, I say as well, maybe in Free Fire. However, Limit knows where his limit is, has to fall back, does not want to play with the circle, and at the same time, RedHawks is no more at number 11.
Unfortunate for RedHawks, they had such a great streak earlier, not able to hold on right now as well. This circle, I would say, is quite complicated to work with. I mean, for a while now, it did favor EVOS, and now it's pulling toward Vitality. If anything, right now, I saw Core Memory, a team that I think did quite a significant impact, also knocked down as well. But for the Keroro, he's running for his life. For Pain Gaming, they're on the hunt right now. Where the heck is this Keroro frog here? He falls. Forak is the one to steal him away, but Rasha will be the one to steal that point. Pain, yeah, they have 7 eliminations, and they're going on the map like just knocking on death's door. Fluxo somehow on the other edge is going bonkers. What the heck happened there?
The interaction with AGAL finally ends in a good green light. Fluxo takes down AGAL. Now we're looking at Vision System SPA. Tries to take a good strike onto a Hotshot, but Hotshot defending their fort quite well here, forcing Vision to actually fall back. However, Vision manages to actually conquer the first floor, awaiting Hotshot from below.
A lot of things are happening here onto the eastern side circle. It's not going to be easy as well. The top side of this building completely covered as well. Just trying to really, I would say, box the players in the bottom side of the compound. Finds nothing quite yet. But Hotshot's gonna get a bit more active and adventurous. Gonna try and peek outside.
Alright.
Pre-fires are good right now. Rushing up forward here. The rest of the team in trouble. But this may be their problem right now because Noda will be the one to get knocked down. He fell down to his death. But action goes huge. Aggressive. Everyone just collapsing. But the zone is going through. Everything looking dire. Everyone looks desperate right now.
Excellent blue wall placement by Hotshot, trapping Vision inside. Now Jota has to force to go outside. Andrex still on the floor. Maxi running low on HP, has been knocked by the play zone. Now Jota is the only one left here for Vision. And I believe he could not survive. Yep, Jota has been eliminated. There goes Team Vision. Now EVOS fighting against Vitality. Brother versus brother. And it looks like EVOS might shine bright here, taking down Vitality. And now we are down to 7, maybe 6 soon. And EVOS murdering Vitality. Only Dick still alive outside of the tent, but Fluxo wants blood. Fluxo wants into that fight.
Fluxo is going aggressive. They didn't even allow for the teams to even get that breathing space. And Dix is doing a great job of waiting on the outside, allowing Fluxo to take this fight. Wara falls somehow. Falcons managed to find him in the end. But for EVOS Divine, they're not out of the blue yet. Rasha doing great. Big opening onto Gio as well. He's done too. And he's playing with those micro angles above the glue wall to perfection. And what looks like a very dire situation looks to be something that is in their control. They're not done quite yet.
Hotshot is still alive. Hotshot might repeat this. They got second place on map number 2. They really want this booyah. It's only Fluxo, EVOS and also Hotshot left on the top 3 placement here. Hotshot has to fall back, not looking good in terms of position. Meanwhile, Fluxo waiting for that third party. Rasha jumps in, nice shot on towards action with the AWM box. FD7 stole that kill. Aim guard goes down towards FD7. Kochi gets towards Hasu, but FD7 pushes forward, disturbing what EVOS is doing right now. Rasha has to fall back. It's dangerous for them to be outside. They have to gather, they have to reset and heal. But the circle is moving.
Yeah, this is a rough circle. And Hotshots doing a great job of just delaying that rotation quite yet, allowing for these two big teams to fight. Kochil moving away for his life. Sajid trying to become the guy who changes the trajectory of this match. And Buxo falls. EVOS, Esports, this is the time to shine. And reinforce Sajid. A booyah for EVOS Divine. Denied over and over, but finally, they clinch it.
After a devastating loss on game number 2, despite having 17 elimination on game number 3. Now game number 4, EVOS finally reserved the slot in that Booyah rankings.
It's looking great right now because in terms of eliminations, they were definitely one of the highest. They're aggressive. They're a team that is so proactive in terms of movement and also getting that space in that circle. This is a team that is surgical and knows what they want. They prioritize a lot. I think for them personally, they love taking up space first. That prime area circle means that they're able to really abuse all the other teams trying to get into the area.
The White Tigers celebrate their first ever Booyah here in EWC 2025. And Russia with the AWM, that is something to be praised of. And with that, I believe EVOS would be on top of the overall table.
Could be very exciting. I mean, looking at the fact that Falcons, looked very strong earlier today, but the readjustments coming in from many teams, I think everyone's starting to get really hot. The momentum is definitely there. But for now, let's have a look at the highlights before we go back to the panel.
So Fluxo started off quite okay, but towards the end, they could not manage to actually close the game properly. Falcon Limit tries his best to hold on as long as he could, but sadly, Falcons could not do so. But however, that is game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to go to break, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back right after this.
We're about to enter one of the habitat, the hibernation area of one of the pro players for Free Fire Esports World Cup. Let's go in. Looks like they are not here. What a beautiful nest. Well kept, I can say. So we can know that one of the players for Free Fire is a very neat freak. You can see that the nest is very clean, very straight. This is maybe the observation area where they could observe the kingdom of stone here in Riyadh. What a magnificent view. The creme de la creme, the survival area of the habitat, the pantry. Our pro players cook their meal. So quite civilized, I could say. And a fridge, I do not dare to open. We might not know what unknown beholds behind this fridge.
We're gonna move over into the player lounge to see the players truly take a break in their natural habitat. Come on. We gotta be very careful to not distract the players from truly taking a long break. Keep in mind, competition is always going to be tough, mentally taxing. So therefore, with only the best that can be provided for them, they won't take anything lower than suboptimal. Coffee, caffeine, everything a player needs to keep them energized, tough, and most importantly, mentally sharp, especially when they're in the game. Here, we're by the snack station. We've got our workers hard at work making sure that they are filling it up every moment. If it's empty, how are these players going to refuel themselves to keep themselves at the top of their game? The Esports World Cup ain't skipping out on nothing. Come on over. They're not around. At least we know that players, especially at the peak of their competition, when they're done with the games that they want to play, they still are challenging themselves mentally. one of the most important sides. Whether you're a mobile gamer, a PC gamer, or even console player, everything is provided here for the player lounge for all of their needs to make sure that the competitive level always stays at its highest peak. Look over here. We've got our PC segments, 2 rows of PCs. We've also got one of our hosts over there trying to be part of this, trying to be part of the player habitat. It's crazy. No, we can't disturb him. No, come back. And right here, we've got the broadcast playing for each of the games. Free Fire is going to be coming on real soon, but we don't care about this right now. We're going to have to take our time here and be very, very careful and very, very sneaky. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I gotta get out of here. I'm in grave danger. I think the players have caught on to what I'm doing. I gotta go.
No animals, nor players, nor hosts were harmed during the shooting of this video.
Nice, thank you. Kalma. 7 orang.
Belakang kita kanan aja ke sini.
100.
Ini gas yang dekat.
Sekarat banget.
Supernya sekarat, kenok supernya.
Nah.
Ini satu orang lagi keluar. Gas aja, nah satu lagi.
Woi, kalem boys.
Gas aja.
Kontol si bocil gentot anjing bangsat. Be confident, boy. Let's go, boy.
Evos Divine are tired. They don't want second place. They want first place. And what did they get? They score their very first booyah. Team looking really happy, especially through their player cams as well as their communication. They knew they were very, very close. And obviously the hard work, it did finally pay off. But is it going to be enough to keep the mentality for this team? We've got a lot of things to talk about here, folks, because that game, it wasn't just a simple case of Evos going crazy, getting all the eliminations and just winning the game. There were a lot of other things that we had to talk about. Firstly, Neptune, I want to start with you because we had an interesting conversation whilst watching that game about Falcons. We've noticed a trend, which we are now going to be calling the Falcons exit strategy. Explain to the viewers what this actually is.
Yeah, I mean, for Falcons, every time they lose a player, if 2, they have an exit strategy. 1 pulls away real quick. Like Launchpad is available, you will be able to pull away, and 1 deals with this as the distraction. So there's plenty of time for them to go for the revive, and then they recuperate and come back stronger. And it happens, if it happens in the early part, then they'll be able to get like to the final 3, or if not, get the booyah like what we've seen in game 1 and 3. But unfortunately, in that final match, they were just taken out a little bit too late twice, and they couldn't just come back.
And for Raja, you want to talk about Hotshots. This was a team that you are very interested in. And of course, our wonderful guest over here, as you can see, unfortunately does not have a microphone, so we won't be able to converse with our guest. But talk to us about Hotshots, because this team has impressed us today.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. Actually, I think none of us was expecting this, but it's a really good surprise. But I'm a little bit worried about, because it's one more team to, be worried about. I don't know, thinking that I'm cheering for Brazilian teams, but well, they are doing a really an amazing job. They are catching pretty good eliminations, and they keep getting up into this format. I don't know how to explain this actually.
The consistency. I think that's the word you're looking for. The consistency for this team is actually really starting to stand out.
Yeah, so we keep looking at them in the end of the match, and they are still alive, and they could eliminate 1 player from Fluxo, which it was more comfortable, because he was in he was kind of hiding, and then he just got the elimination, which it was very cool.
It was a very smart hiding spot though, right? Neptune, you saw it's on the low ground, and when you're prone, sometimes it's hard to see players there. And if you see another team hiding behind a glue wall, you're gonna go after them first, aren't you? You're not gonna run around and look for the person on the ground.
Unless,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
unless you're the only ones, like the only player remaining. Yes, that's
Exactly.
when other teams. But with the distraction that Fluxo really did in there, so I guess that gave Hotshots that opportunity to hide out and then just grab the second place. But one thing I would say as well for Evo's Divine, I guess their strategy is working this time around. We saw and we discussed this even while the matches were playing, that the split that they're doing, the 3-1 split, yes, it's favorable from the beginning somewhat towards the end, but if it's the final battle 4v4, it wouldn't work. But this time they slowed it down. They know how to deal with each player, and they just stuck together compared to Razia just going along and being chased by the rest of the team.
Yeah, and Raja, I think we also talked about this a little bit behind the scenes where EVOS, they played slower this game, right? They started the day very fast, lots of eliminations in the early game and even into the mid game. But for this round, they didn't look for eliminations until what, the 4th or 5th circle, which is really late for EVOS, but it worked out for them.
Yeah, I mean they kept in the top 3. Yeah, so I don't know. They have kind of different strategies, but it keeps like working for them for some reason. They are like having a really good day. In my opinion, it's one of the best teams. Of course, we can watch we can see this at the overall ranking. So Evos appears like in the first place.
I mean, they deserve to be up there. They worked incredibly hard. They've secured basically top points almost the entire day. The only reason Falcons fell down was because this was the one round they kind of fumbled the ball, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, we also talked after the previous match wherein Team Falcons is leading because of placement point, but
Yes.
elimination-wise, it's Evo's Divine. And now, since they were surviving a little bit longer, Team Falcons was struggling, so they can still continue on and getting all those elimination and sticking together. 4-man strong, definitely a booyah would help them. That jump up to number 1.
Well, I mean, do Falcons really care as well? I mean, you don't really need to sit in number 1 because it's just the knockout stage. Yeah. So, moving on, because we are getting ready for our next game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give the players a bit of a quick break, but we do have, I believe, the SNB head-to-head, because that's where Gideon is. That's why he's not here. Hey, Gideon, show us the head-to-head.
Thanks, Denelli. Of course, the head-to-head, the rivalry has already become something that most people wouldn't have expected. 2 Southeast Asian teams are battling out to look for first spot, especially between Group A and as well as Group B. I'm talking about the rivalry that you guys have been talking about. It's EVOS Divine as well as Team Falcons. Now, it's a hefty battle, of course, but it's really a battle of the mind. The 2 IGNs that are setting themselves apart here, I'm telling you, Peter is a monster when he makes his aggressive calls, but Aim God sees everything. That's the big problem that we're seeing from these 2 teams. Too many factors are coming into play, but when we consistently see them make it to the final zone, who can stop them when they've got momentum pushing them forward? And not to mention a beautiful arena to show off what they're playing for here. This trophy is looking good, and I'm sure these players are ready to go. We're going to throw it over to the casters for map number 5.
Alright, going into game number 5. It's gonna be next Stera. And yep, as said by our panelists, as said by Gideon as well, EVOS is looking very strong on the first plate with 78 points. Highest elimination among all with 43. And another honorable mention I would say is towards Team Hotshot. We don't see them usually on the first page, but this time around, Hotshot improved significantly.
I mean, AJ had already highlighted them in that first map about how, how the coach is a brilliant coach, how he's able to really lead the team forward. They really want to be able to make up for past mistakes before as well, coming into this tournament. And for them, going hard, going hot now to be able to launch them forward to the top 12 is the goal. And from there, they're hoping to ride that high into that grand finals, granted, because also, we also have that Champions Rush, a change in format for this year's EWC.
All right, here is some last words, some prayers from our Esports Divine team from Indonesia. They really wish to maintain on that first place, would actually secure them the slot towards the point rush stage. And yeah, again, it's not about being first place here on the group stage. It's about surviving to be on the top 12.
Yeah, you want to make it to that top 12 as well. And I think that also has those challenges because you don't want to get knocked out very early. Esports Divine is great. I mean, I think the panel, brought up something very interesting. Raja especially mentioned that for Esports Divine, them changing up the pace in map number 4 from a more aggressive, fast approach and now finally a slower one, getting active on, circle 4 and 5 for the previous map. It paid off for them as well. But regardless, it's still high in terms of eliminations as well, which is why they're able to overcome Falcons, they rely a lot on those placement points. They don't get super active super early unless really provoked. And I think that for Esports Divine, they're understanding that value you get from the points you get from those kills, from those eliminations, really, putting them on top of those placement points as well to really launch themselves forward. They have quite a sizable, not super sizable, but enough points to just really, maintain that lead a bit more.
Yeah.
If this trend continues today, Esports will be so far in the lead and teams are going to have so much trouble stopping them. Someone needs to slow them down.
Yeah, someone really needs to slow them down. Meanwhile, I would like to talk about the Brazilian teams. Yeah, team Alpha 34, Team Fluxo, and Pain Gaming. They are not doing very well here on day number 1. Maybe Fluxo, we could
Fluxo is looking
praise.
No, they're looking great right now. They were
Yeah.
slower in the beginning of the day, but after that they found their momentum. It was a Rubik's Cube for them to be playing on the international stage. You're playing outside of Brazil. It's a whole different ballpark when you play with players from Southeast Asia as well. And they finally figured it out. They're looking great. Not quite there yet in terms of a booyah, but they're starting to build that momentum, and that is something super important to watch out for.
Yeah, in contrast, Alpha 34 and Team Pain, they are struggling. We can see their struggles from game number 1 to game number 4, trying to fight against Team Falcons, trying to fight against Team Core Memory. Alpha could not actually get that duel against Team Hotshot. So if they could not find that particular strategy to fight against the Asian teams, Alpha 34 and Pain Gaming would have, as said by the team name, a hell of a pain time.
Yeah, I mean, Pain Gaming, they did have a few, I think, neat ideas in the bag just now. I mean, they wanted to become gatekeepers, keep those teams outside of that circle itself, but what they didn't expect was that all the teams just really rallied to them. When you are cornering a beast, the beast is gonna bite back. They're gonna fight back, and they weren't expecting a lot of these teams to go that aggressive, and they were overcome in that particular moment, I think in the last map or so. Now, I think what's really important about Alpha 34 here is that I think Raja mentioned that for this team, they are the underdogs. They're a team that we're not expecting to be here. They were shocked to be here, in fact. And for them to get this far, I think they need to remember that they deserve to be here. Maybe it'll take some time for them to figure out the styles of play from LATAM, from Southeast Asia. But after all, if you're here at EWC, you definitely have what it takes to be at the top. So I am really excited to see what Alpha 34 can present to us as a team who are not expecting to be here on the big stage.
Another team that was not expected to be here is actually RedHawks. Yeah, they didn't see much from RedHawks on game number 4. I think they got caught off guard way too many times up to point. It's hard for them to actually gain points on Alpine, but still coming into the game from Bangladesh, fighting against teams and players that have years of experience playing on an international stage. It's something that, to me, might overwhelm them in a sense, but holding their ground very well, especially on game number 1 and game number 2. RedHawks, I could see them be in the top 12 later on in our group stage.
Oh, I completely agree with you. RedHawks look really good right now. They started off strong, I think, in day number 1. I'm really hoping that they're not a day 1 wonder here, because that's usually the case, right? You get chalked off guard on day number 1. You see all these teams really shine, then suddenly you get outstratted, outshot on day 2 as more teams start to get into that momentum, get into that groove as well. But RedHawks look good. They've been, like you said, they've been able to hold their ground. But right now, the problem is whether or not they can hold on to that momentum. Because if they're getting knocked, I wouldn't say they're getting knocked early. It's toward the middle of the pack. I wouldn't say it's terrible per se, but you did make a big point here. This is a team that is debuting on the international stage. This is a team that, barely has played in the international level. This must be very, very new to them. The different pacing, the different styles of play. They need to adapt, and so far they've been doing great at doing that.
Yes, that is true. Meanwhile, for the other team, especially for the Melata teams, I'm yet to see them shine, especially Vision System SPA. We've seen time and time again, they try to go for that early game fights. They try to go try to take early game points, but apparently it's way too many times Vision System could not fight the opposing team, be it from Asia, be it from Brazil itself. They still struggle in all 4 games. Meanwhile, for the other Thailand teams, Core Memory has shown us a few moments where they are looking very strong. But however, once the game turns or goes into a mid-game, they fall off real bad.
I mean, the mid-game can be quite chaotic. It's a situation where a lot of rotations are happening. They need to be able to win these fights. But regardless out of all of that, EVOS Divine has been doing really good when it comes to their fights. You know, we saw them box into a tent and you would have thought other teams would just collapse into them. What do? They counter back with their own blue walls, playing those micro angles, finding a nice low ground angle to just really shoot on top of the terrain as well. And then quickly the team just breaks out and just collapses. And I think it's great communication coming from this team, and they know exactly how these executions are going to go.
All right, we are still getting ready into our game. Okay, what's your take for Team Vitality?
Vitality?
Yeah.
Oh, they are
after game number 4.
I mean, Vitality, you could tell they're really struggling on day 1 today. They haven't found their momentum. They couldn't really win those really crucial fights. I mean, AGA and Husky did mention in the first game that Vitality were supposed to be the Falcon Hunters, and they ended up being the team that's being hunted here. I feel like, in the beginning of the early game, they got a bit too aggressive, too greedy. They tried to change up the way they played. In the previous map, they were one of the earliest teams to get into that circle as well.
Correct.
And still they were eliminated. I think one of the words I remember from a Malaysian caster, Abi, told me, if you're going to be holding into that middle of the circle, you have to be really strong. You have to be anticipating teams coming in from left, right, and center that are going to be just collapsing onto you. And unfortunately for Vitality, perhaps that is not the move, because they weren't able to really maintain their position. Perhaps a later rotation, perhaps making playing toward the sides of the circle might be the way for them, but I'm not sure. We had a bit of a break. I'm really hoping that Vitality did figure out what exactly has been the biggest problem that they're facing today.
The reason I'm pointing this out, because Vitality is not a new team here. Previously, they were called Bigatron Delta, then acquired by Vitality. Now it's Vitality. This roster is a very experienced roster. They have played on international stage, on Southeast Asia stage so many times. So every time when I see Vitality falls off, I question myself, what happened to them? Because I assume that due to the existence of EVOS in their bout, they might want to, step up their game. Okay, we got EVOS here. We don't want to be in their shadow. Vitality, let's go up. But apparently, for all the 4 games that they have played, nothing can be said about them. Just maybe one good game on number 7 on the 3rd game, but after that, Vitality struggles to get points. I believe they are currently on number 10 with 18 points, and that is not something you see from Vitality actually.
I mean, the great thing about Free Fire is that anything can happen. You can have one really good game and just immediately get launched all the way to the top side of the scoreboard. Granted that the lead has not been super huge, and that's fine. I think this is a day 1 problem. Day 1 is a day that I feel and I still believe is the icebreaker day. A lot of teams are still struggling to get to know each other, understanding what the drop spots are, understanding how rotations are going to go, and understanding the different metas that are coming into this game. I know that, with the conversation with Danily, right, about how the metas are, through so many different regions. Not many can adapt real quick. Some of the teams that have been adapting today has been EVOS, Core Memory to an extent as well, and Falcons are doing really good at that as well. But, for the rest of the teams that are still struggling, honestly, day 1 is where I would say that's fine. I mean, you can really take your time to really figure things out. After the day ends, you can go back, VOD review, figure out what went wrong. Was it a breakdown in a miscommunication? Was it the comps that were just not working out? Did we have to work on how our execution is? Was it our rotations? That is where things you have to really talk to each other to figure out. Regardless, I think while we wait for the teams to ready themselves, let's go back to the studio to have a chat with the panel.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, Tash and Admats. Yes, folks, thank you so much for being patient. We are still trying to get into that game, but bear with us because you can have a little bit of fun with us on the panel. Gideon, welcome back. You were looking a little cute before, you know, just
Oh, thanks.
a little yellow maybe.
Oh,
But
of course, only natural is my favorite color.
But we are getting ready to jump into this next game, but we do have things that we can still kind of address, right? I think we still have that top race for top 2. We have EVOS and Falcons fighting up there. We have Fluxo still trying to make their comeback as well. We have Hot Shots started to come in, guns blazing, and really being a dark horse. Are there any other teams that we kind of want to highlight that have the potential to maybe sneak on through towards the upper end of that rankings here? Neptune?
Yeah, I mean, Hot Shots, I'm pretty sure Hot Shots want to be overtaken by Pain. They're very, very close, and Raja would approve of that, especially with that statement that has been thrown earlier. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I need to translate to the Brazilian players because I'm not really sure if they can understand what the player from Hot Shot just said, but I will translate to them and then maybe we can start a real fight.
Oh, so they don't know they got insulted. Okay.
I don't know if they will approve it because I know some of the players and they are not the kind of. Sometimes they are kind of angry, you know.
Oh, okay. So they need a little bit of heat. I mean, Gideon, you were telling us just now in the casters area that the stage is freezing.
Yes, it is very, very cold. But at least from the players' perspectives, as the breaks were going by, you can see that the players are going in and out. Some of them are wearing jackets. They are prepared. But then you can tell those who are really eager, those who are like sitting, playing with their chair a little bit, sometimes playing with their fan, no jacket, no nothing, and you can see it in their eyes. There's heat there. There's fuel behind them. There's a lot of gas as well. These teams are extremely motivated to try and outperform themselves throughout each of the individual maps. But I think, you know, I feel bad because I feel like I've started a controversy and I was in the center of it all. Like, what have I done? What have I done here?
It's okay. If we get any complaints later, we'll just redirect them to someone else. It's all right, Gideon. Don't worry. We got you. But Neptune, though, as we jump into game number 5, what are we kind of expecting moving forward? Is it really just going to continue to be this race that we're seeing at the top of the leaderboard? Or do you actually feel like some of these teams that are a little bit slow to start, they might wake up? Because we do see this sometimes. Teams just not having a great morning, but it's like after 4 games, it's like, all right, we're ready to go.
I mean, that's the usual pattern that we see in the other teams. It's only a few teams that really take advantage of the chaos in the beginning, especially in day number 1, like what we've seen Falcons do. They just know that they can bring in a lot of elimination and then grab those booyah. But for the other teams, they need that time to study their rotation. They need that time to study their opponent. And I guess Fluxo as well is one of those teams. Now, going into the overall rankings right now, and Hot Shots currently on 2nd place, or 3rd place rather, and Core Memory was able to catch up earlier. So let's see if that is something that they can turn around towards the latter part.
Can we talk a bit about Core Memory? Because I feel like we just are not seeing them on the screen, but look at them on the leaderboard. What is going on with Core Memory?
I think it's because they are not being like that consistent, you know. Sometimes they really do a great match, and sometimes they, I don't know, they just can like clock, and so maybe it's like a hard time for them, but not that much because they can appear at the top 5, which is really cool. But we need to see if they can keep inside of the top 5.
I think a lot of their strategy revolves around the map, right? Because initially I thought maybe they had something against some of the Brazilian teams that kept meeting up in map 1, 2, and arguably even 3, but then ended up losing that fight specifically against Fluxo. So that's 3 maps and 3 times that they've clashed with each other to predetermine whether they make it into the top 3 in the first place. But then we see map number 4 that we see a bit of a divergence, right? We see them drop on the complete opposite side, completely avoiding majority of the team. So I do think that it boils down to, yes, consistency, but at the same time, map presence, right? Yeah. Which begs the question, what will happen during map 6, especially since it's the brand new one?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that has been thrown in the mix, and starting that when Solara has been introduced, everyone is in chaos. But going back to Core Memory, I think the Cougar knowledge, the knowledge that Cougar has from Team Falcons is something that's helping the team to really maintain this momentum, but not so much at the top.
So, do you think, I mean, we're game 5. We're going to leave game 5 because I do want to continue this map 6 discussion because I'm so keen to see what we're going to be what's going to be happening when we have inter-regional teams playing on the new map. Raja, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Brazilian teams are ready to play Solara?
I mean, I think they probably are like studying other teams because we are not that into this map. So it's even hard when you need to start a fight with like Asian teams, which they are really aggressive. So it's even worse, you know. But I'm actually not a huge fan of Solara.
Oh wow! Okay,
no.
How come?
I don't like that map.
Oh, you just don't like the map.
So if they don't do like a great job in this match, I will forgive them for sure.
I think I understand like the standpoint of Raja because the players doesn't like the map as well. So she just puts herself in that position of players because of how close she is with other players. Right?
I also don't like to play. I mean.
Even in rank.
No, I don't like that funny. I prefer like Bermuda, Nextera, or like Purgatory, this type of maps.
Okay, Neptune, what's the consensus for Solara? Like, what is it that makes the map so difficult to play? Is it just because it's so brand new and everyone hasn't really mastered all the mechanics yet?
I would say it's the slide rails that has been spread across the map. So it throws up the strategy, especially if you're just going in for rotations. But I guess it's something that they need to adapt to.
All right, well, folks, thank you so much for being patient. It looks like we are ready to jump into game number 5. I'm so sorry, Gideon. We're going to bring you back in later. But we're going to throw it over to Tash Bunny and Admat for game number 5 here at Free Fire at EWC 2025.
Thanks very much, Danilee, as well as the panel. They remembered our names this time. Great.
Yay.
Love that for them. Now, coming into this particular map is where a lot of people are hoping for teams such as Vitality or even Fluxo to just wake up, show us what they have to offer. But for now, it's EVOS Divine in the lead.
Yeah, let's get into game. It's gonna be Nextera. The only thing I like about this map is that you can jump as high as a mountain, and that will be at Grav Labs. And here you go. So game number 5, as said by Tash Bunny, it's about time for everyone to wake up. No more wallygagging, no more early morning grumpiness. It's all now right here in game number 5. Right now, currently on the knockout stage leaderboard, it is EVOS Divine Esports from Indonesia, acquiring 78 points. Would they continue their dominance here in Nextera, or will there be a new contender in that Booyah slot?
Looking over at Fluxo, who's dropping at the same spot as another team over at Intellect Center, it might be super aggressive. Even Vitality is there right now. It's a 3-way hit there really quickly as Dix will be the one to get knocked down. Gio waiting for the right time, but he decides to push forward. But unfortunately for the rest of Vitality, they are not able to hold. The first eliminations happening quickly for Fluxo, and they were very decisive about taking this fight.
A very bad start here for Vitality. Koja as well is caught up by fire from Team Fluxo. So Koja has to fall back. He is retreating from Intellect Center. Now left in this compound, it's gonna be Fluxo and Core Memory. Meanwhile, we are hearing a knock by one of the players in our map. I assume that is the brawl in Grav Labs, as EVOS is interacting with Pain Gaming. Yep, I was right. So Gus manages to actually get 1 point from Team EVOS Divine, and EVOS Divine, I believe they are
knocked out very early.
They're gone. Yeah, I don't see any white tigers in the map.
I don't think so. This is...
Yeah, they were.
This is unfortunate. They had really put a big target on their heads. But the fight's not over quite yet here. As Core Memory looking to get aggressive, as Fluxo as well going for that reset. Dawn falls, Bobs get that big kill onto a player there on the other side. But the rest of Fluxo not down and out quite yet. Bunsin just waiting on the backlines there. Gio trying to see if anyone's rotating over forward. But Dawn quickly brought back into this game. And the other teams are just quickly leaving away. They don't want to take these early fights, and for a good cause.
They are falling back, but they are falling back towards Core Memory KOG. Unless Core Memory moves, Fluxo can actually intersect with them. However, you can see that VSC Vision System SPA moving quite aggressively towards Team Fluxo, entering Intellect Center. And talking about EVOS Divine, we were talking about Booyah Curse backstage, and apparently that is implemented onto Esports Divine. They had Booyah on game number 4, but they were the first to be eliminated in game number 5. So Booyah Curse is real here for Esports Divine. Now, looking back at how they play against Pain Gaming, they had that nice ground where they could play inside, but due to the fact that Grab Labs could put you off guard, especially if you jump, causes them to actually just not playing very well in that particular place.
This is aggressive coming from Fluxo, rushing up forward here. They're just completely overcoming the other team here. Futsin falls, Nejad as well here. And they're taking fights left, right, and center. Overcoming so many other teams. Gio needs to be picked up quite yet. They're not done. The jump shots are really good. Strays forward, and his teammates decides to go a bit more forward to give some space for his teammates to bring his teammate back into the game.
Run, Maxi! Run! You could not fight this, you don't have any medkit. But hunting towards Max, and Maxi goes down. And then there's only one member of VSE left. He managed to actually fall back away from Team Fluxo. And game number 5, Nextera, Fluxo is on fire.
Yeah, they really, really needed that. Just really wake themselves up. And for VSE, this is so unfortunate. They haven't had the hottest of starts. And it looks like this trend is not stopping anytime soon here. And it's looking really, really insane because Hot Shots, this is a great high angle they can play with as well. Korja, they have access to this crate. They can pick up whatever weapons they need. And interestingly enough, everything has started to slow down. Airdrop collected.
Yeah, has to wait inside the circle to unlock the lock on that drop. Meanwhile, Hasu actually has a very good vantage point. Meanwhile, VSE has been eliminated right after Esports Divine. So again, a very not a good day 1 here for that Latin American team. Meanwhile, Hasu has been spotted by Diamond. Nice shot with that AEC. So right now, Hot Shot, they lost that vantage point guard. Now they have to fall back, and they are falling back with the jump pad, but they will not be let go. Exposé hunt them down, pushing foot, trying to fight against action. No more glue wall as Skylar has been put down by Exposé. Diamond trying to provide them some backup here for Exposé, but Hot Shot smart enough not to directly engage on towards Team Virtus Pro. And now Virtus Pro get in towards Team Hot Shot. They're trying to go for the second floor. Diamond's on second floor, but Action and Anas now on the ground. Anas, red color as his HP transform as well as Action. Hot Shot hunted down for so long, and VP managed to only get 3. And Sergeant is still surviving. They are falling back. They want Sergeant now.
Chase him down if you want, if you could. Hot Shots are now already back into the game. They had the idea, they had the high ground, they had the position. It's just that they just overstayed their welcome here. Sergeant all alone, he's so low right now, running for his life, zigzagging forward, barely alive. Gets time to go for the reset for the time being, and he's gonna prep that nade, hoping it's actually gonna hit onto someone at all, but his teammates are not close enough to fight him. He's gonna have to go for this 1v4, and this is a great play for him to be able to isolate these fights all alone. But the amount of bodies thrown at him were just too much, and Virtus Pro finally get the last piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, Sajid was lucky enough to revive all 3 other members that was hunted by Team Virtus Pro, but sadly Sajid could not survive. Meanwhile, RedHawks is now no more in Nextera, placed at number 10. We were praising RedHawks quite heavily here on day number 1, but sadly, coming to game number 5, players are realizing how RedHawks are playing. They are realizing how Bangladeshi Free Fire is being played. So they are slowly getting a little bit down here as we go progress in day number 1. And we are showing here, ladies and gentlemen, the top players here for highest damage. Rasha, the Wonder Kid, is there. And as you can see on the right side, Circle has completed for the first one. Second one will be right around Boxing Gym Deka Square Mud side. So this is a favorable Circle, especially towards Alpha 34.
Just so many things happening. This circle is not necessarily the easiest either. It's all the way on the other side of the map. A lot of heavy rotations coming through here. The first team to really quickly get here is going to be Vitality. And I think that Vitality is looking good right now. They're taking their time. Yeah, they lost that initial fight, but they're doing well surviving. They're taking their time. They're slowing it down. And I think it's good that they're able to realize that taking these early fights is just something that's not beneficial to them. But for Core Memory, I think they had a whiff of where Vitality is. They're looking to try and find them out, but the amount of pressure coming from Vitality manages to push them away for the time being.
Alright, so Core Memory Trying to find a place for them to cap it out. As you can see from the minimap, Team Alpha 34 has put a bounty on towards Team Vitality. Meanwhile, AGAL Barros was caught by Pain Gaming. Motavea got that a point kill for the Brazilian team. And AGAL, you can see only Dew is left here. And Dew is being chased by Gus. Gus has an SVD. Dew really needs to find space, to find time to revive the other members. But Pain Gaming is not letting it go. They are pushing forward. I can hear the Ferrari, the fast car coming in. Peter trying to find Dew inside Graveland, but Dew is way ahead away from Team Pain Gaming.
If you hear that car, what are you going to do? You're going to skedaddle away, obviously. That's a terrifying sound. Pain Gaming, this is great for them as well. I think they had a pretty rough start today. They weren't able to find the momentum. They weren't winning those really crucial fights. But now they are the ones currently on top. They're looking hot right now. They're not looking to really take these fights. They are really testing the waters on how far they can chase, but they're not really looking to pursue. You go into a compound, they're saying, okay, the lack of information means that we don't push into the compound. We don't want to engage into a CQC and isolated fights, which means that we can stay intact as a 4 all the way till the end. But now for Falcons here, they have 5 eliminations already. A bit more of a quieter game, but I think throughout the entirety of the day, we have already come to a conclusion that Falcons love to get more of those placement points and survivability compared to these early fights. And I think this pacing still suits them, as expected.
Yeah. This is the way the Thailand team plays actually. There's that early game slow pace, then gradually it becomes faster and faster. Hot shot, trying to get a hot shot on towards Team Falcons, but Amas was retaliated back by Limit. So that is a knock from Team Hotshot. So Falcons is now controlling back Rastown. Limit is still guarding for Team Falcons as they are trying to get into the new circle. And Hotshot made the right decision not to continue to suppress fire, fall back, find another way to get into the zone.
Yeah, but Falcon suspects that they might be around, so they're lingering a bit longer here, forcing for Hotshots to go for a longer rotation. They cross, they might be spotted out by Kiroro, even Virtus Pro. They might be in trouble. And speaking of trouble, Chinoy knocked them already so quickly. Looks though they're looking hot right now. Big opening onto Chinoy. They want to look and just try chase for the rest, but they haven't found anything quite yet. But it should be easy access to the circle for them.
You want to know something interesting?
Yeah.
We have played for 5 games, and in all 5 games, Fluxo always interacted with AGAL. The first 2 games, Fluxo didn't win. But the previous game number 4 and 5, right now, it looks like they are winning very well. Game 3, 4 and 5. So we can say that Fluxo finally knows how to take down AGAL.
Took some time.
Yeah.
Need a few maps to really figure things out here. Diamond is just unrelenting. It's putting a lot of pressure to the other members of Hotshots. And I have to say, this team has been quite unlucky this map. You manage to get into the circle, you run into another area of a hold, You try to rotate to another area, you run into another team. And I would really like to see them take this fight. I know they are a little bit more on the back foot when it comes to these aggressions, but I want them to really challenge these teams. Don't let them bully them away. And I think for AGAL here, nice shot into a player of Fluxo, but not really enough to really just take out the whole team.
So AGAL managed to actually get a small revenge onto Team Fluxo, but Gio can simply be revived soon for as long as Team Fluxo managed to find a vending machine. As the circle closes, teams and players are coming into the new zone. The ones that is still outside is, as you can see, Fluxo. That's still AGAL, Team Hotshot, and also Pain Gaming. But I'm not so sure about Hotshot. They're not looking very hot here as they are being gatekept by Team Virtus Pro.
This is nice, honestly, because Virtus Pro is using this compound like a little shield and also a safe house, keeping the players of Hotshots at bay. They're not able to break inside, and even then, the rest of Virtus Pro don't want to take this fight. It's a bit too early for them. They don't want to go for a 4v4. They want to go for these long-range fights, these pickoffs, and that's why they're looking to just go further into the circle, put a lot of space between them and Hotshots.
Right, a few shots once towards Fuwarak. Virtus Pro continues to widen the gap between them and also Hotshot. The new zone has been updated. It looks like Falcons and Vitality is already inside. And as you can see from the north, side of this camera, from north side of our view, you can see Fluxo is fighting against Team Vitality. Kyong is now on the floor, but due to nice blue wall placing, Kyong managed to be revived back. Meanwhile, Fluxo still on 3 members. Opt to go for the first floor, maybe not disturbing Vitality on top. Wait for the next zone to close out.
Just biding their time here, they're boxed in. If say that Vitality choose to push into their area, this could be ridiculously hard. The CQCs, the corners that you don't check.
And the numbers
Peter
as well.
Already getting one knockdown of his own here. But Vitality's looking to get a bit more adventurous. Check out the near side, poke their heads out, find nothing. And now they're trying to just block the players of the team inside of that compound, really take away that space and make a little bit more area of hold for themselves. Already in the middle of that circle here, they're so close by to Falcons, and you know how devastating it can be if they go up against this team. They're already putting in the pressure, and they're looking to just really hide away, heal themselves up to full before they fully commit to this 4v4.
Vitality is not in a good spot actually. A lot of wide openings in the compound that they are having in. Meanwhile, Falcons focusing 2 teams actually, Vitality and Fluxo. Meanwhile, Hot Shot is being hunted down by various teams actually. The Pakistani team is not looking so good. Only Hasu left. Meanwhile, AGAL is actually facing the same fate here. Could not make any move. Meanwhile, Pain Gaming jumped in. They are now aggressively pushing towards Team Falcons. Peter has to come back into the compound. Virtus Pro has been eliminated on 9th place. Noda eliminated all of the blue walls here from Team Falcons. Still outside. Finally, Noda is in. Tries to go at the shot, but could not do so. Could not find members of Team Falcons. But Kiroro is down by Motovea. And Gus looking very low here. Has to stop for a while to find time for medkits. Meanwhile, Alpha 34 is coming in to join the party here between Pain and also Team Falcons. Limit is cornered in this compound. Could not go anywhere. Falcon is looking desperate right now to still survive in this chaotic space.
There's not a lot of space to work with right now, but Vitality somehow gets theirs. And now AGL eliminated already at 7th, and now Vitality as well is going to be coming up on top here. We were waiting for this team to wake up. We were waiting for this team to get a bit more aggressive, to be a bit more, to show a bit more of what they have to offer here. As Falcons stuck in a corner, Peter left alone. Not the easiest thing for him to do to bring his team back into the game. Inhalers up, yeah, but it's only a matter of time before the glue walls fall, before he gets completely chunked down by Pain Gaming. And Pain Gaming, even Motovea is the last man standing here. He's alone, but here comes Core Memory. Cougar knocked down already, trying to steal away this space away from Vitality. But Vitality gets his. Peter falls. Don steals away the kill. And Falcons this time around, they're not able to clinch that booyah. 5th place for them. But the fight, this compound, hotly contested.
Finally, we see Vitality shine. Right after my comment, which is very good. So Vitality finally open their eyes. All right, this time around, let's do our best. Let's show them that Vitality is still alive in EWC. But right now, we are left with only 4 teams. Core Memory KOG guarding outside the vicinity of Vitality, but at the same time being careful of Team Fluxo, which is right behind that white bus. Core Memory trying to widen their position. Meanwhile, Vitality still waiting for that moment to come up from their compound, waiting outside for Memory and also Fluxo. Meanwhile, Motovea for Pain Gaming is just watching all of this happening slowly. So good that Core Memory is managed to actually widen their plane of view so they could catch anyone that is coming outside.
Yeah, Core Memory is doing great. They're out there in the open, gives them a lot more space to work with as well. But they're looking at challenge. They want these points because the players of Vitality cannot move. They have the glue walls, they have the space, but Don has other things in mind. He's trying to be very sneaky right now. He shows himself out there. He throws in the nade. It hits 2. Motovea falls. Koja's looking great right now, but Don's been spotted. He's all alone, but somehow his movements are just too much to deal with. And now Core Memory looking to chop them down. No, they're falling because Vitality is looking to change the trajectory. Fluxo falls. Vice putting in all that pressure onto Bunsen, and Bunsen gets taken away. Fluxo with only 1 player left.
Oh, Koja is now down. Vitality bringing the pride of Indonesia. Pushing towards Team Comem with KOG. Zed gets fight, but Dix goes down to Prox. Oh no! Comem on his head is now on the floor. Holds the line denied by Koja. Now Koja has time to revive both Dix and Far East. It's gonna be 3v1. Will it be Fluke Show for the 1v3 clash, or will it be Vitality Redemption Arc after 4 devastating games? Right now pushing forward towards Prox. Prox is now fighting against Diva. Koja from behind, and they got Prox. Booyah for Vitality!
After so many rounds, they struggled. They weren't able to find the answer. But on Nextera, this is their map. They were on the back, but they didn't have a lot of space to work with at all. And somehow managing the game sense just so good, so aware that there's going to be someone that Dawn hanging out from right across the field, playing CQC as well. A team like Fluxo was waiting for them on the other end of the map, was completely punished from the map as well. They were already marking how they were going to leave that compound and aggress, and it just shows in how they played that last circle.
We were talking about how Vitality had a very bad start on day number 1. 4 games, they do not manage to actually rake in a lot of points. But coming into game number 5, Vitality finally found their own vitality to redeem all the mistakes that they have made throughout game number 1 till the game number 4 with a very magnificent booyah and high elimination count as well.
Yeah, but for now we're gonna go for a quick break, and after this, more Free Fire EWC coming at you.
Quadra kill. Triple kill. Double kill.
Não trava, por favor. Não pode travar, não pode travar. Não pode travar, não pode travar.
Nossa, vocês são muito estranhos. Mas se isso for trazer o buia, tudo bem.
Hi everyone, it's Yunso and we are here at the Esports World Cup 2025 Boulevard. Very lively here, the gaming district, place for you to enjoy esports. But the most special thing about here is the food. Southern region dishes, all the regional dishes, food. Who doesn't love food? Because I am. So I hope you guys will enjoy the moment on the camera. But if you can, please come here and share the fun with us right here at Esports World Cup 2025 Boulevard.
What a incredible game. Game number 5, absolute chaos. No one knew what was going on. We didn't know who was even the leader of that match, but we've got to break it down for our viewers at home, because if we don't, I think we're all going to be a little bit lost here. But I think the first key thing we have to talk about is EVOS being eliminated by Pain Gaming. Raja, I think you must be proud.
Yeah, I'm really proud of all the Brazilian teams actually because they played really well in this match. Even Fluxo, and they switched one player. They switched MT7 over Prox, so we can see Prox playing for the very first time here at EWC, and it was a really good match for them. So I think it was very positive. Like it was an additional, like Prox, it was an additional, and it was very positive, and I'm really proud of them. But well, Ping is too good too. It was good to see them playing, and they get a bunch of eliminations if I'm not wrong.
Yes, they got a lot of eliminations, so they got a lot of points for that round. Sure, they didn't get the booyah, but who cares if you're getting so many heads in the round? We also have to talk about Party and Falcons compound. So many teams stormed that compound, and poor Falcons, they had the escape strategy, Neptune. That wasn't going to work there. Like, where were you going to go?
There's not so much of room. Even Peter was left in the corner, like not breathing at all. Tries to survive. He's solo. Everyone just roaming around, shooting each other, and then finally being caught out. And yeah, there's not so much of exit strategy, and that's what happened if they loses out in the latter part. And also, this is the map we're in. Towards the latter part, there's still 9 teams remaining.
Yep.
So that's a lot to deal with. That I don't think anyone would be able to survive if you're losing out in one.
I think it all started from like ring 4 to 5, right? I think that's where we see the hard predictions really come to life, and Falcons were like, yes, we got it correct. And on the opposite end, we see just Vitality. We see Hotshot like, dude, we literally ran halfway across the map to make this, to win out on a 50-50. We didn't win out on that 50-50, but Falcons end up taking a majority of the karmic damage the universe somehow gives back to us.
I think it must have been like cumulative for all of today, because, you know, Falcons have been causing a lot of teams issues. It's not just one, it's everybody, especially with the number of points that they picked up. But we're not done here, folks. We've got one more map to go, and it's going to be a bit of a chaotic one because it's the newest map for Free Fire. It is Solara, and we kind of did talk about this before Nextera, right? It's a brand new map. A lot of teams are still not comfortable playing on it, but this might be a map that decides the fate for some of these teams because day number 1 is almost over. This is the last match of the day, last time to grab points.
I was saying about Solara that I am not really into Solara, but actually I think it can be like a good, I mean, it's not a star, but maybe Brazilian teams can do what they just did in the last match, and then they can get more points. So I think it's gonna be a really important map for them, and they really need to play. So they need to do like Solara very, very well.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, if the momentum of the Brazilian teams, as you did mention, is coming from slow in the beginning and then hard on the end, and Solara, I think this is where they're going to bring it on. But there's a lot of factors that could throw off even those from other regions apart from Southeast Asia, Brazil, because I know there's also a few that doesn't have that Solara map in their qualifiers. So it would be difficult for them to play against these teams.
I can only imagine what scrims are going to be looking like for the most part, because I think there's no real optimal strategy. I think for teams who like to play inner ring, there's, again, a little too close for comfort if we're talking about like the best cover possible. Right in the center of the map, you got 2 giant hills, literally, how many, if I remember counting correctly, like 5 slide rails heading towards that center of the map as well, with not much line of sight to play with. Those are the main 2 structures you want to kind of sit around with. And the problem is for inner circle teams, being able to dominate that side of the map is going to naturally cause tension with other inner circle teams. And I think that's one of the few problems as to why some teams are like, yeah, maybe this isn't the best.
So maybe we're going to see a different strategy just because of the slide rails. So maybe instead of focusing on the middle, teams slowly come in from the outskirts, right? Make their way around, try to catch teams off guard. Maybe just focus on elimination points until maybe that 4th, 5th circle, when you start to figure out like, okay, where are all the players and where's the free real estate? Where do you kind of want to be when you do get later on into the game?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, slide rails, it's a good entry and exit strategy. It just speeds up your movement, but also it triggers that someone is using it. So definitely everyone would be at their toes. Everyone will be looking out on both ends of those slide rails, and it would be the downfall of a team who just don't rely on it so much. And we'll have to see, because as you did mention, there's still a lot of compound. Inner circle teams might be targeted, especially the TV tower, who's part of that, dead smack in the middle. So if everyone aims for that height advantage, TV tower has it. But there's also a huge risk that you'll be losing out.
I mean, let's also look at some of the teams that like naturally have played in really powerful positions across other maps. RRQ being one of them. Hey, if it's Kalahari, you know exactly where they're going to be. And I think even for some of the Brazilian teams, right, there are power positions on the other classic maps where you always see them go to. But then when you cut to Solara, it's just, hey, if you control that, all the other teams are going to get punished, but winning it is such a problem.
But then again, I just remembered, Booyah was taken by Team Vitality. And from Southeast Asia, they have been, or they crowned themselves, they dubbed themselves as the Kings of Solara. So,
Vitality?
Yes. So it seems like we might be seeing a back-to-back Booyah, well, unless someone denies them of that.
Okay, so I want to hear more about the Kings of Solara statement here for Vitality. Why are they calling themselves that?
Well, from Southeast Asia Spring, they were able to get multiple Booyahs. They are topping the board in terms of elimination. And it's because of all the chaos. We did mention it's new, but since Team Vitality is also a new team in the mix of Southeast Asia, they just focus on what advantage they can use. First off, they targeted the top dogs. Hunter, they were the Falcon Hunters. Ooh. And then Solara was introduced because no one dares go against the Falcons back then. Now Solara's been introduced, no one dares to study that new map, perfect their rotation while everyone else is in chaos. So they're just playing it aggressively smart, but hopefully they maintain consistency.
Yeah. Okay, I want to kind of play with the thought here, right? The fact that Solara is it's uncharted territory for a lot of teams. Are we going to be seeing a lot of adaptability coming from some of the teams? Like, I don't think a lot of our squads have places where they just drop and say, this is our spot. I think teams are still testing where the good drop points are, especially the Brazilian teams, I feel, because Raja, they're not practicing on the map, right? So if you are untested on the map, you're not going to feel comfortable finding a drop point.
I guess the biggest problem, it's probably because they don't know the landing spots of the Asian teams. So this can be really hard to them to start a fight with a team that probably have tried this map before. And I mean, well, I don't know how to explain, but that's the very first time that they are here playing this map. So everything can happen, you know, like it can be good for them or it can be like not that good, but I think it's gonna be a little complicated because Asian team normally they don't like to fight each other, you know, like they don't fight face to face.
I just want to add on to that, right? Because again, if we're talking about adaptability and teams not having a lot of practice and it's their first time, we do notice that, especially for when new maps start to come in, a lot of people are fighting for a couple of the same spots. But I think that Solara is really unique in a sense where there are some hot places to drop. However, if there's too many teams, at least for some of the other maps, you can kind of divert off to find, you know, maybe not the best of the best loot, but enough to keep yourself equipped. That's not the case for Solara. It's pretty wide open and it's scarce enough where you can equip yourself with at least tier 1s, but you're never going to compete with some of the hotspot droppers within the map itself, meaning that fights are going to either A, two teams are going to battle it out, everybody else walks away, or B, everybody else who are just looking for eliminations with tier 1 loot is just going to go for each other's throats as soon as possible.
Yeah, I guess what Solara has to offer is similar to what we've seen in Nextera.
Yes.
In between the major buildings, there are a few compounds like that you can take. So you can, if you see someone and you're trying to avoid any fight, see someone dropping in with you, just split up, take those smaller buildings, and then just regroup. And I guess that's one thing that they don't need to focus on, just going in straight and out 4v4s early in the match.
Yeah, and I guess like I think we're going to be seeing a new meta develop for Solara. I don't know if you all agree or disagree, so feel free to share your thoughts, but I kind of feel the fact that we have this inter-regional tournament happening and we're playing on a brand new map. I think the different mindsets that captains have for their teams, I kind of feel like we might develop the Solara meta here at EWC. So we'll have to see what happens, folks. But we have just been informed we are ready for game number 6, Solara, our closing map of the day. We're going to throw it over to Tash Bunny and AdMath. Take it away for game number 6.
Last map, last game for day number 1 here for Free Fire at EWC 2025. It's gonna be the newest map, newest addition towards Free Fire Solara. Everybody, it's gonna be RedHawks here as we are going to see players on that slide rails trying to either exit or enter from the enemy team. Let's see who will become the last booyah of the day. And if you guys want to know, from game number 1 till game number 5, all 5 games are booyahd by Southeast Asian teams.
Super exciting to see how they're really, setting the momentum today here. Would love to see Brazil just really rally back, especially since according to the panel, Solara is what Vitality claims to be the kings of Solara here in Southeast Asia. They are the pioneer, apparently, and they have really perfected how their rotations are going to be. And I would say that this is quite a hard rotation to play with, as Gideon mentioned, because of the rails that came through, right? You can Tony Hawk your way through. It's really quick on the rotations. You're definitely going to be caught off guard, especially on how fast you can move throughout those rails.
Right. Now, players are having their places, having their drop spot one by one. Yep, as you can see, Dix being the skater boy right now here, I say by Ever Living. Also dropped, get some mushroom, get some EP in. And there you go, the first circle. As you can see, it's favoring towards Funfair as its midpoint. And not much can be said right here. I can see that RedHawk is actually fighting against one player from Alpha 34. Other than that, no other team is intersecting one another. And it looks like RedHawks managed to actually take down that player from Alpha 34. And yep, that is the only thing that we could see in this early stage of the game.
I mean, there's a lot more I can see right now in terms of draw spots, how everyone is just so kind of hunkered down in their areas. We're not really seeing these early fights like we did in the previous match. We usually see maybe 2-3 different teams dropping in the same spots right now, but everyone's being very, very cautious. Archway, interestingly enough, I think Vitality were the first team to drop there. They're so comfortable to take up this early mid-side area of the map, and now we did see those really early pickoffs. They're already back into this game. In terms of rotations as well, I think the only team that's really getting a bit more active around the map right now is slowly going to be Vitality. But for the rest, I think everyone just wants to see the circle shift before they fully commit into moving around the area.
All right, we are expecting the game to be a little bit later. Here is the replay on how Liu soloing himself. He managed to get to Tush, but sadly, it's a 3v1. With only a double vector in hand, it's quite hard for a player to do a magnificent clutch. But that is the only fight that we are seeing as of right now. We're looking at Vision System, PSPA, using the jump pad, closing in towards, I believe it was Team Falcon at Riders Club. Yep, Chicks has a car 98, but car level 3 is still fine. He could still get damage in, but still not enough to be a fearful weapon to be used. So with Team Falcon exiting Riders Club, nothing can be done here for Vision System. They're a little bit too late.
Peter, ooh, nice shot to the face here. Noda X quickly taking him down. Gus steals him away. Falcon's on the back foot. Shouldn't be too long to bring his teammate back into the game here, but if anything, this team should be very happy to steal away one of the Falcons. They want to really stop the aggression, the momentum coming in. And for Pain, I think they've been doing such a great job today in terms of aggression, in terms of taking fights. In fact, they are the type of team who would really chase you to the ends of the earth if they really want your fourth. So be careful of this team.
Airdrop is nearby to Team Alpha 34. And they are not looking to take it just yet. Meanwhile, RedHawks has entered Delta Isle one by one. Delta Isle is actually occupied by Team Alpha 34. You can see R7 is spotted by Flicker. Tries to go with the M24 shot, but was blocked by a glue wall. Meanwhile, Funfair, the brightest and funnest place to be in. Solana is now being occupied by both Hotshot and also Core Memory KOG. Shots has been fired by the Pakistani team. Meanwhile, Core Memory is trying to spot where are the shots coming from.
A little hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of things happening right now, including Linz managing to steal away a kill very early here. Again, these are not really full-on fights. Okay, hold that thought. This is going to be almost one of that. R7 brought back into the game here. Again, not really full-on fights. They're not really going on a 4v4. If anyone, everyone's just trying to reposition themselves. That's a very, very ballsy move. Kutush left alone here. It's best to just really, you know, cut your losses, try and bring your team back into the game.
All right, Nejat is the only member left here for Team RedHawks, and apparently Linz could not get that final kill in. So there is actually one or maybe two eliminations here for Team RedHawks. And Nejat really needs to run. Run, Nejat, run, as said by Forrest Gump. But in Free Fire. Meanwhile, Liu finally spots Nejat wide open. Only a glue wall here. Not so sure how many glue walls Nejat had. Finally in the clear, had to enter the building of Windmill. However, inside Windmill, I can see green color there, but no, Nejat goes down. Liu with the hurrah! Takes down Team RedHawks at 12th place.
Unlucky for him. Wasn't able to run away from the side. They chased him to the edge of the earth as well. And Hotshots as well is another team to be knocked out very, very early. Two of these teams that we had praised fairly early had great potential today. Not going to be able to live out their last hurrah and make it to it at least to the middle side of this game. Early night for them as well, but for the rest of the teams, it's just business as usual here. Virtus Pro has been showing a lot of aggression, especially in this game. They see a moving target, they go and fully just commit onto this fight, and has been doing a lot of dividends for them. They have 4 eliminations already on 7th right now, and they're looking to try and overcome where Hotshots and Pain are right now.
Fuara be knocked by Team Vitality. The Kings of Solana finally gets one from Team Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro, meanwhile, is trying to go to a different position. On the other side of the map, the hub. You can see Pain Gaming facing off against EVOS Divine. 2 members of Team Pain is now no more. Milan Aimgod could still be saved here. So Indonesia versus Brazil. Gus and Motovia has a lot of work needs to be done. And it looks like Gus managed to find space to go and fall back. Trying to be the anchor here for Pain Gaming. Meanwhile, Motovia left alone, guarding Team EVOS, not allowing them to actually move out of their position. Rasha, that was knocked, finally has been revived back. Motovia got space, and this is the time for him to actually fall back, save more time and more survivability here for Team Pain Gaming.
This is making it so hard for the team to really just bring themselves back online. This off angle is just ridiculous. He's fighting so many of them. I'm not too sure if EVOS had actually marked him quite yet. I think they do. He has a nice angle to just go for these long-range pickups. But for the rest of EVOS, they're looking to collapse, not allowing these isolated 1v1s. Aimgod with the rush forward here, looking to play that first contact. And Motovia quick to move away. He's so low right now, but I don't think that EVOS wants to push this issue.
Meanwhile, Gus trying to give space here for Motovia.
No, that is incredible.
For Gus, but Aimgod just pushes it in, and there you go, Gus gone. Meanwhile, Peter tries to go for his body back again, spotted by Russia, but apparently does not have the right angle to get that final shot onto Peter. So Peter Pain Gaming falling back, sliding towards the bottom. Seeing spotted, Aimgod tries to aim, but his aim is not godlike here. So Peter survives and has to find a way to pick up Gus and Noda.
I mean, to be fair, EVOS did quite well, just really make sure they can survive, and it's a very aggressive play. You send Rush out super early. They were not expecting them to go super quickly and take these fights. And for now, EVOS are not done quite yet, because you have another team here. It's going to be Vision System who's rushing forward to take this fight. And I think that EVOS, they love aggression, they love chaos. They put in a lot of damage to one member of VSE. Souza forced to just really take this time to just go for that reset. Blue wall set up, space given. Dota trying to his hardest to go a bit more aggressive, but he's gone and bit too much more than he can chew. The damage is done. Maxi tries to rally, but he's so isolated away from his teammates. The rest of EVOS are able to just play tag team with one another here. Kochil low, but his teammate is okay to rush up forward. Go a bit more aggressive. Aim got for one. Russia finds one more, but Kochil as well will be traded. But still, EVOS here will be the one to be victorious in this skirmish.
All right, only one player left here for Team Vision System SPA. The Latam team is not doing well against EVOS Divine, and EVOS Divine quite a hefty elimination right here after 9 minutes of the game. Final against Team Pain Gaming, and right after that Vision SPA, they managed to rack in 6 points as of right now. Meanwhile, EGAL again interacting with Fluxo for the 6th time in a row. They never did not meet ever. So it's always EGAL, Fluxo, one way or another, one shot against each other. But this time around, you can see that EGAL is gatekeeping Fluxo very well, not allowing them to take the shortest route right here. Has to force Fluxo to maybe detour towards the back in order to be a bit safer, unless Fluxo dares to fight EGAL head on.
Interestingly enough, I think a lot of teams are going for these later rotations. Pain Gaming still not in the zone. You know, EVOS, even Vision System as well, are really taking their time there. But Fluxo needs to take this fight against AGAL. It's not going to be the easiest way to get into this circle as well, because you do have this team waiting in the compound. You have to flush them out. Bob's the first contact play. They were waiting for it, but they were so quick to set up those blue walls. Gives them a bit of space to reposition. But Chinoy and Dew, they bring devastation, and Fluxo cannot hold on. One by one, they fall. Double kill for Dew, and the rest of Fluxo are just running away for their lives. But these shots from Chinoy today have been incredible.
What a major mistake. What a bad decision, I could say, done by Fluxo. As I said, they could actually just rotate towards the back, avoid EGAL. They had the mini jump pad. They can just mini jump pad away from the Thailand team, but nah. They wanted to fight. They wanted to try. Maybe it's because it's the last game of the day. I'm like, okay, why not we try one last time? Maybe we can get points. But nah, EGL was like, yeah, give it on. Give more, boys, more. Yeah, 4 free points towards EGL. And that is that. Now, we're looking at EVOS Divine and Core Memory, KOG. EVOS now on fire. Might not know that Core Memory is camping here. Has to rotate towards the side from outside, but they have spotted Vision System.
10 points difference between Falcons and EVOS, and they're really trying to make up for lost time and points as well here. But we look up toward AGAL, who has their sights onto the other members of the team for Alpha 34. Tries to put the shots, a bit more pressure onto them as well, but you can tell that for Alpha 34 is super wary right now. Yep, hit some chip damage onto WVU, but not enough to take him down. So making sure they don't stay around alone is going to be key here, as the other members of AGL look to play a little bit more aggressive. Shinoy, I would say the Slayer for today, is doing incredible. He's putting in the pressure. Saifa rushes him forward, but he has enough door that he could chew. R7 eliminates him promptly, and the rest of the team now scratching their heads. What do we do? Our first contact is fallen. Are we going to back off, or are we going to press the issue?
EGL challenging yet another Brazilian team. However, they have lost Saifa, and then Chinoy tries to go for the smart blue wall on the slide bar, but sadly Chinoy is not trapped on the balcony in front of members of Team Alpha 34. However, Liu and Luan goes down. R7 is doing as much as he can, but it looks like AGAL maintains dominance in the compound. R7 has to fall back. However, Barros was hunted down. Nice shotgun by R7, but R7 again with the shotgun, with the clutch. Dew is not there. R7 managed to get Luan in the same process. Now, Dew with the grenade, will it enter? However, Falcon is coming. They are coming. The Green Falcons is gonna go for the party. Now, Dew all alone, facing Falcons, facing Alpha 34. And Dew, but he found a whole bar and a car as well. Peter and On Fire was hit by the car, and Dew finally has been gone down. Well, he's denied honors the line, and AGAL is now no more. Red color on the bar, being hunted down now by Pain Gaming.
Third party, the name of the game. And Falcons are doing it so perfectly, but limit falls. They're not done quite yet because Pain Gaming is looking to put their hands into the cookie jar. But both of Bea and Luan get one each here. And Falcons cannot hold. With only one player left alive. No space to work with. On fire here all alone. Not enough space. Taking a lot of damage from those ice nades as well. Looks to reposition. He pressures an area. Looks to push up forward. Trying to break this blue walls as well. But if you break it, yeah, sure, you're out here in the open with so many teams on the outside. It's a very, very ballsy play. And he tries to make it work. Nice shifts. Nice movement as well from both these teams. It's just a game of ring around the rosy here. On fire, Luan wins this. There's going to be Pain Gaming waiting for them on the bottom side. Both players forced to hit that pause button. And also Vitality wants a piece of the pie.
Alright, the king of Solana is now here. Let's see whether or not Vitality lives up to that title. Pain Gaming patiently waiting on the first floor while Vitality decimating Team Virtus Pro. Core Memory once have been eliminated on the 6th place, EVOS on 7th, Virtus Pro as well on the 5th. Now we are left with only 3. We have Alpha 34, Vitality and Pain Gaming. 2 Brazil, 1 Indonesia. Will we have another Southeast Asia Booyah as the closer, or will finally we have Brazil slotting in on first day as one of the teams that gets the Booyah? Let's just see. Vitality waiting on top. Alpha 34, only one lone survivor left, and Pain Gaming has a lot of resources to play with.
Interesting enough, because the circle is shifting over to their side, every single team needs to be able to win this fight in this compound. If you walk outside there in the open, you are basically dead meat because there's no cover. There's nothing to work with as well. And Vitality looking to just overthrow these two teams inside of the compound. The nades will be cooked, throws down, finds nothing. It does break the glue wall, but it doesn't really hit that mark. What Sofia does eventually find one. Luan walks straight into his trap, and the rest of Vitality look to collapse. Jump, falls, jump shots all about. Peter is doing well to manage this aggression, but Jinx is going to find a kill of his own. Good trades all around for both of these teams here, and everyone is chaotic, and not a single player able to play with each other, isolated as well from the windows, from the blue walls. Every single corner is managed as well, and Peter, the gatekeeper of the outside of the compound, has got so many eliminations, and a Booyah happened right out of the blue here.
The king has been dethroned. We have the new king for Solana here at EWC 2025. Booyah for Pain Gaming.
After 5 games in a row dominated from Southeast Asia, we see the Fangs rise here by the Brazilian team. And I think it's really incredible to see that it could have been anyone's game. That compound was so hotly contested because everyone was stuck into it. Everyone had to take this fight in order to rotate to the right. But Pain Gaming, knowing how much value, how much advantage you can have by having a lot of control of the outside of the compound, when a lot of utility is thrown inside, they run for their lives, and all they have to do is wait for these players to walk outside with their shotguns with open arms.
You could see how patient Pain Gaming was, holding the first floor, not allowing anyone to come by, because everybody was jumping in towards the second floor because they know, okay, we have seen players on the first floor. Why not we just go on the second? Maybe we have a chance. And that is what Pain Gaming has done. They funnel everyone towards the second floor, leaving them a lot of space on the first floor. Nobody wants to be outside because that's the only compound in that zone. And patiently waiting, patiently decide whether or not should they engage. Now, they stayed. Hearing shots from above, they don't care. For as long as they are the final few tips left, that's when they shine. Once Luan stepped on Motovia's landmine, that is it. And Pain Gaming closing the game very well. Vitality could not control them. Vitality was like, huh? Well, then Pain Gaming, many people, what?
Yeah, I think what's really great about Vitality, honestly, is the fact that they were able to survive for quite some time here. But the problem was they were just completely overcome. You saw how when Vitality came, a lot of teams were already anticipating their move. They were already anticipating for them to just, to receive them. And for now, let's talk a little bit more with an interview there over the stage. I wonder if it's going to be Carol. So let's see.
Let's go, interview.
welcome to Amazon post-interview show. And wow, what a great match, what a great matches today we have watched from Evil's Esports. Congratulations, Guy, and we have here one of the players for Evil's Russia. Congratulations on today's matches, and we want to know, you were waiting for 1 year to compete on the stage because of the age regulation, of course. And now you managed to compete on the world stage in AWC 2025. How do you feel right now?
Jadi tentunya di sini congratulations atau selamat buat tadi di map terakhir, dan tentunya di sini Russia sudah menunggu kurang lebih dari 1 tahun lebih ya, karena adanya batasan umur tentunya di AWC. Tapi sekarang Russia sudah di sini gitu. Bagaimana perasaannya?
Menurutku sangat senang karena ini pertama kali dan ya hasilnya lumayan, alhamdulillah hasilnya lumayan bagus untukku, dan mungkin kedepannya aku bakal nyoba lebih improve.
Of course, I'm very happy, and alhamdulillah, I think we have a good result for now. But of course, we are trying to be the champion, and we're just trying our best tomorrow as well.
Well said, thank you. So you overtook Team Falcons but got eliminated early in Game 5. What happened?
Jadi tadi di game sebelumnya, di map sebelumnya berhasil mendapatkan buyah ya. Tapi habis itu di map selanjutnya lagi langsung early eliminated gitu, dan Falcons kembali meretake. Itu apa yang terjadi di map kelima itu?
Mungkin kalau mungkin kurang lucky sih bang. Jadi kitanya kalah ya, soalnya kalau misalnya gambling kayak gitu tabrakan 50-50.
Yeah, I think we're just not lucky enough, because like we take a gamble and we just lose badly in that map. So because it's a 50-50 basically in that series.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Okay, thank you so much for the interview. Good luck in the next days. And we have watched great action today happen here in the studio. And I'm more excited for tomorrow because we're going to have Group C hitting the stage. I'm Carol Bombshell, and I will see you all tomorrow for more Free Fire action here at AWC 2025. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Carol. Welcome back to the panel, survivors. What a way to end the day. That was such an amazing Game 6. All of the casters, all of the panelists, we were screaming in our dedicated seating area. We were just thinking, who's going to get the booyah? Because there was no clear leader. Of course, we did have a couple teams that had the numbers advantage, and it did look like it was going to go their way, but it wasn't a case of us just thinking like, oh, Vitality's going to get it. Oh, this team's going to get it. It was just, at the end of the day, Pain Gaming on a map that they probably don't feel very comfortable on, Raja.
Well, right now I think they feel really comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
And they did an amazing job. I'm really proud of them. And I mean, it was a good map for them. And I could see like all the players like having like synergy, like playing together. They look really comfortable, and they did an amazing job. And we could see too Alpha 34. And so it was a good map for some of the Brazilian teams, but not for all of them. Unfortunately, Fluxo wasn't doing a good job.
Maybe they ran
map.
out of energy, right? Like Fluxo looked really good towards the middle section of the day, right? Like a little slow for the first couple games. Then Fluxo was kind of winding up, starting to feel good, but then we come to the last map and did they just run out of juice, do you think?
I don't know what's going on. I think it's something about the adaptation because they switched the players. So I think probably someone was like ruining the game. I don't know what's going on. I will check this for us, and I will bring this information tomorrow.
Here's my prediction. I think that, especially for Fluxo, especially when we're talking about their IGL, they like the structure of the game to be very within the boundaries, right? We don't want to just leave it up to chance. And a lot of these situations that we do end up finding ourselves on this brand new map is very, some may call it a little unorthodox, right? Especially those final game rings as well. And I think that teams who had the better instincts overall, Alpha for an example, again, was able to hold out for long periods without Pain Gaming as well, which is where we started to see them shine. Vitality, really good examples of teams with strong instincts.
Yeah, it just so happens Team Vitality, we did mention that they're very strong on this map, and they didn't hold out that much against different teams. It is expected that they can win in a 4v4, but it's just so many chaos, so much chaos. It's similar to the ending that we had in Xterra. Even for Team Falcons, one guy remaining, and he was just stuck in the corner. So it's just a repeat. It just so happened that Team Vitality and Pain Gaming was the few teams remaining, and Pain Gaming just did it smart. Waited for them for the outside, and then just waited for that blue to push them out.
And I kind of want to talk about Pain Gaming because I feel like we haven't really highlighted this team enough today. And they seem to be getting better and better with every map that they're playing. They already had a high elimination score today, but their only problem was securing placement points. Now they got a booyah. All of a sudden, we could be looking at a major contender here at EWC. I know everyone at home is excited to see the overall score though, so let's have a look and see where everyone is after completing their day one matches. And still at the very top, we have Team Falcons. The main reason they've been able to stay up here though is because unfortunately for EVOS, they had one round that actually cost them a lot of points.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that one round, and it was explained a little bit by Rasia earlier.
The 50-50.
It was just, yeah, the 50-50. It's just luck at that side. They were unlucky at that point. But again, they're still number 2. I don't think it hurts that much.
It really doesn't. And I think, the teams that we were expecting to eventually do well, some a little bit slow on the start, but I think I've been most impressed with these Brazilian teams, these Latam teams, right? They didn't start the day off very nicely, but look at them now. Pain in 3rd already, Fluxo already up to 5th.
Yeah, it's good to see my Brazilian teams at the top 5. I'm really happy for them. But how about EVOS? I think it's a really good position. I will be really happy if any Brazilian team keep at the 2nd spot. But I think they are kind of hiding some things because they don't want to show like the whole game that they will play at the grand finals. But well, I think they can like handle that, and they can appear, of course, to play the finals. They are very capable of it.
I would encourage them to avoid the curse, right? The team that does well during the knockout stage typically doesn't win the championship title. And who's in first place? It's Team Falcons. So the curse could be in full effect, folks. We really don't know what is really in store for us. But what we do know right now is that we have concluded our first round of matches with teams in Group A and B. Now, we do have some exciting segments coming up for you right now. We have the Kidia top plays ready for you at home. So let's have a look at the best plays that we have seen so far here at Free Fire at EWC 25.
Triple kill.
On fire, there's a reason why he is so good, but at the same time, I think the snipers have really stepped up all across the world here. We're seeing some crazy headshots, some ridiculous plays from every single who has picked up a rifle of this caliber.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most of the time, teams with the best sniper are the ones winning most of the gunfight and also leading the board. And we've seen a pattern. Even the acquisition of some of the snipers for one team who doesn't have a main is a trend. I think it's attributed by MT7 as well after his performance.
Yeah, but I was thinking about saying something about Motovea because it's the sniper from Pain Gaming which plays like really well and did like an amazing job. So I think he's like kind of responsible for this spot for Pain Gaming, like keep inside of the top 5, which is really important to them.
Now, we do have to wrap up our matches for today, but of course we do have a special shout out for our Sony MVP of the day. It is none other than Rasia from EVOS. This man has worked for the team.
Yeah, I would say that.
He's getting close to man, but he has worked for the team today. I think we had a bit of a discussion at first. This was off camera, and we questioned whether Rasia really was a good fit for EVOS, but I think after today, we're really starting to see this team really come into its own. and they're ready to take the EWC title.
Absolutely. I think that at least for Russia, his best pairing is when he's with Ray, right? The energy, because again, they are, I don't want to say exactly the same age, but they're pretty similar in terms of build. There's a lot of relatability, but the communication between those two players alone gives, it almost feels like Russia has eyes at the back of his head thanks to that.
Yeah, and also I think he made those adjustments like after losing all those gunfights, like keeping distance from the rest of the team, he is now going into the mix, like sticking together with the rest. And that was one point that we have earlier when they were losing fight against Team Falcons.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think, and I think it's so cool to see like a kid, like a young boy, doing everything doing this type of things in the tournament. I mean, it's really good to see that he's confident. I mean, it's pretty good.
Especially at such a young age.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes us feel pretty bad, don't we? So talented.
Oh, I'm hurt.
All right, analysts, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge of Free Fire on the panel for today. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you, Raja, Neptune, and Gideon. That's going to be it for us here for day one for Free Fire at EWC 2025. But we still have 4 more days of Free Fire to go. So make sure you come back tomorrow at the exact same time as we get ready for our next round of matches. But until then, have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy the rest of EWC 2025.
Reach your impossible. Lenovo Legion.